Welcome to Anahat Meditation, Lesson 7, Meditations 8 and 9. So welcome everybody who's here live. We took a 2-week break, so I was saying before we started that it's wonderful that you're here by choice. I don't send reminder emails, right? You're just showing up. I don't pay you, you don't pay me. We're just in this together for the real reasons that we're doing it, and that makes it very sacred and precious. Before I forget, temporarily have stopped the Monday night classes. So this is a Sunday night class. I'll probably just keep doing these. Maybe long term, we'll definitely get through this first round of the entire Anahat meditation system. And I can say as I just keep practicing for myself, it just keeps getting better and better. We did get one piece of good feedback, a request to save your questions pretty much for the end of class, so that those who have to log off can do so. And I think those who are just watching these as videos might appreciate that as well. So do your best to hold the question to the end. It'll probably help us to get through quicker anyway, because it always goes longer than I think. I'm just going to read one thing, and I'll just comment on a couple things in the chat pod, and then we're just going to jump right in. So someone said, the practice has been profound, intense, and pleasurable. For me, the effects in daily life are also more and more evident. Awesome. When I'm walking, I will find myself spontaneously breathing in the meditation 6 star, which I also feel is the tree of life. Awesome. We'll probably do an entire class in the tree of life, because if you don't understand that grid over your body, you're missing some really significant parts of the practice, but that will come up for sure. So thank you. And someone said, this is not answering questions, but feedback for people who are watching to get a sense of what's happening with this stuff. Somebody said, I do love these practices. I have had an overlay image of the Sri Yantra at the end of some of the meditations. I noted it. I felt the Anahat center of my heart. All right, beautiful. And one question I do want to acknowledge was, how important is it with each meditation to think about the energetic? Like if you're descending at the hara, you think grounded, grounding, get into my body, get be here now. And then the question was, at the heart, do I need to think love, love? My answer to that was, if you're hugging your child, do you have to think in your mind, love this person? I need to love this person. You sure do if you don't, right? If you're making love with your partner and you're thinking, all right, I gotta be present, gotta feel good, gotta let this feel good, gotta focus, gotta feel good, gotta put my attention on this person. Obviously the problem is you are putting a veil between you and the experience. So thinking thoughts to realize what's happening can be a good thing if you don't know what's happening. I was telling the group before we started, I will talk about this place much. I lived in a spiritual community up in the New England states for about 4 months. It was very dysfunctional, so I don't mention it so nobody goes there. So I actually secluded myself big time when I realized how dysfunctional these people were. But I built my own little house there. It was a phenomenal experience. This little river, it's just me, a little hermit monk meditating in the woods by myself for just months at a time. Because again, I was like, all right, everybody, you're crazy people. I'm going to be by myself. And I did. That's what I wanted. I was in my early 20s. But anyway, being totally by myself, meditating alone for, days on end, like nothing to do, just absolutely nothing to do. No electric, no phone. This is in my 20s, no cell phones, no internet, just me and maybe one book, and that was it. Just a little house and a meditation cushion. And my mind wouldn't shut up. It still wouldn't be quiet. And I remember going for a walk, and I said, all right, mind, narrate what's happening, because everything else you're saying is total fiction and unnecessary. Worrying about the future, thinking about the past, thinking about other people outside of my house. There's all fiction. So while I'm walking, I'm making my mind say, I see the asphalt, I see, the road, I see that where it meets the grass. And I remember this moment so well because I was fully present to it. All right, I see it's hard to describe, it was like a little ravine on the side of the road. All right, I see the ravine, I see the trees, I can see the sky, I feel the air, I can sense the temperature. And for the first time in my life, my mind was telling me what was happening. Remember, words are twice removed from reality. So the word love is just a word, but the word represents an image in your mind usually, like what would love look like? But love isn't necessarily something you visualize, right? It's not something you make up in your imagination. Love is the one reality, or the one energy of the universe that we call God, Goddess, all that is. It's like that spirit is that. When you're in the presence of that, you don't have to think those thoughts. You're just feeling it. Like with meditation number 4, you're not on your mind thinking, all right, pleasure, gotta feel pleasure, gotta make this feel good. Now, again, if it's not feeling good, sure, those would be good thoughts. But once it's feeling good, let go of the thoughts and just feel. And again, it is very kinesthetic. I don't really visualize this practice, because if I'm doing yoga, for instance, and I'm in a body posture, I don't visualize the body posture. I hold the body posture, I feel it, I breathe into it. It's not just that I'm primarily kinesthetic as the way that I function, because I'm not even sure that that's true. I would just say that this system is probably meant to be more felt than it is visualized or thought about. So it's a really good question for everybody who's practicing meditation to understand. Eventually there's no mind. There's just these beautiful flows of energy. And it's become so matter of fact for me as we've been going through the lessons together, and I'm doing them very intensely myself. An intense spiritual practice since we started this, and during COVID when I'm joyfully, voluntarily, alone up in the mountains, like, wow, it's amazing. It feels so good. So it's just words of encouragement for you guys to stick with it wherever you're at with the practice. All right, I believe, let me just take a moment for the chat pod, but I think we're good. We'll save questions to the end. Okay, that was good. Somebody did email about a sensation like a vibrating in the left ear. And I responded to that in an email, but I'm going to mention it now in case some of you guys experience this. The energy that we're talking about is real. It's not a visualization. There's literally like energy pouring into your system, up and down your spine, and moving through the meridians of your arms and your legs. It's there. So when I first had Reiki attunements, this is Reiki 1, I don't remember. I have Reiki 1 and 2. Not that it's such a huge accomplishment. People are so proud of that. And I'm like, it's a little class. But anyway, it's a good thing. And they do open your higher chakras. If you've never had Reiki attunements, I would recommend it. My out-of-body experiences started happening. This was like, I was in sophomore, freshman, junior year of college, something like that. So I was really young, and I cracked open my higher chakras, with those attunements. I just started flying out of my body, like right away. So I really recommend those. The idea is they open your crown, third eye, throat, heart, and then through your hands, and the energy comes out of your hands, which is relevant for today's class, actually, to talk about. So when the energy is going up and down through your system in that way, it does vibrate your eardrums. I noticed that right away with Reiki attunements. I was meditating, I'm like, your eardrums are really sensitive. This energy is really strong. So I felt that on and off through my life, and my experience is it's usually when it's purifying something, working to raise you to a higher vibration, but once it does, the system equalizes. Yeah, while it's getting there, you might notice those kind of things. Okay, so somebody said it happens to me in my back, like chills. Yeah, the Kundalini, the Shakti, the energy that runs up and down your spine, moves through Ida and Pingala nadis, the snake-like channels, and they're lunar, solar, masculine, feminine. So while that's opening up, you might have really hot sensations or really cold sensations. And I think we've already talked about the temperature changes or even challenges with your body while the whole system is unfolding. It takes you to a level, I'm just going to say that's not really human. I don't really feel like I'm human anymore at all. Look at what's happening out there in the world. I'm like, I'm not one of them. I know what's happening in my inner being. And it takes you to a whole nother level as you're doing this practice. You really start to understand yourself as a divine being, as an angelic being, as your deeper spiritual self. When you're aligned with the grids and you realize the grids are divine and you are made in the image and likeness of those grids, and you start to just know, that's who I am. Then when you watch everybody else with things that are human and they're all, out there doing their thing, it's like, okay, I get it. But yeah, trust me, like stay with the practice because you're so much more than what everybody tells you when you're growing up. And you're so much more beautiful and powerful and glorious than what they tell you that you are. So the system will unfold all of who you are, and it's never regrettable. It's always worth the price of admission. to go into your heart and clean house and get free. The end result, maybe externally or internally, even in your life or in your inner reality, is not necessarily what you would think it would be. But that's how A Course in Miracles, how those lessons start. They're like, just do the lessons and trust us. You don't always agree with the lessons. They're not always easy. You don't always understand. Just do them and you'll get the results. It's just like yoga or Tai Chi or Qigong. You just keep doing the practice when you can't grasp the results of somebody who's been doing it for 25 years, who's really mastered the practice. But again, words of encouragement that it's worth it. So I did manage to upload everything to the website today. So Anahat Meditation, what is it called? onlinemonastery.com at the Anahat Meditation page. We're updated with lesson 7 now. I didn't have the audio of lesson 7 for the introductory talk, so I re-recorded that today just by reading the training manual. That's really all it is. But you can listen. Today's a little bit complex, not too complex, but the explanation can sound overwhelming, but it's actually extremely simple practice. So as you're listening to that, I could tell, I could feel like, yeah, people's minds are going to wander. It's not the best way to learn this through just that audio, but the meditation, the recording is there. And I'd encourage you to listen to those, of course, if you're serious. I was just telling the group before we started, well, I won't say too much from the recordings, but again, you guys are doing this after we took a little break. You're here because you want to be here. You're seeing the value of the system, and we're working to help you to be Anahat meditation teachers. And it's my mission, I would say job, but more than that, mission to get this out there in the biggest way possible to help a lot of people, especially those who are really ready for this level of meditation. So I hang out to the end because there's going to be, I'm sure, some nice announcements on how we all grow together and heal the world with this, if this becomes important to you as it is to me. Then I'm happy to share it all, of course. All right, I need a second. I didn't open, the computer needs a second. I didn't open the training manual yet. Let me do that first before we go to screen share. Okay, there we go. All right, Anahat meditation lessons, workbook, and audio recordings, the Anahat teachings. So here we are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now we're going to 8 and 9 in the same meditation. The meditations, so this is lesson 7, meditations number 8 and 9, upper and lower body meridians. You go to, so this has a lot to do with my Chinese medical school background, and I think you already noticed the reminder. I have 2 years of Chinese medical college training, and it's intense, it's in depth, and if you get a sense of who I am, I don't do things mediocre. So I studied that stuff like crazy. I was acing the exams, and by the way, I was using hypnosis towards end of my acupuncture school before I decided to go into the field of hypnotherapy. And I would program myself to be an exceptionally good student. And I would finish the test 4 times as quickly as anybody else in the room. I would get a 90+% all the time. I didn't have to get 100 because who cares? My ego wasn't in the way. And teachers would say, you can't finish that quickly. I'm like, grade it. And then I go sit outside for, like an hour waiting for others to finish. So it's just a little testament to hypnosis, but also I'm mentioning the Chinese medical training because we're going to go into it a lot today. And that's usually a 3 to 4 year degree. It's a master's degree. You become, depending on the state you're in, a doctor of oriental medicine or an acupuncture physician. So studying that for 2 years, and it gave me a very significant understanding of not only anatomy and physiology and nutrition and massage, and of course acupuncture and related themes, herbology, yet really importantly for my life's path, it taught me all about the energetics of the body, the acupuncture meridians, the organ systems, the emotions associated with the organ systems. It's a really significant medicine, and its efficacy in different practices or for different issues would be a topic for another discussion. But as far as a profound understanding of what's happening in the human system, it's like a priceless education to have. So like I'm saying that because it can take 3 or 4 years to start to really grasp, well, not to grasp what's happening, but to get out and practice as an acupuncture physician. So in 2 years, I understand all the theory, all the meridians, you learn all the acupoints and whatnot. So I'm qualified to share what we're going to talk about now. I didn't just pick up a book on it, but at the same time, as you know, I didn't go into that field because the power of the mind is just so important. So for me, the spiritual level and the mental level, mental emotional level, is much more important than the physical or energetic level. And acupuncture was predominantly working on the energetic level and the physical level. Yet acupuncture teaches that the highest level physician heals on the level of spirit, mind. And I'm like, well, then I'm going there, right? So honestly, hypnotherapy can do, I believe, virtually pretty much anything you could do using an acupuncture needle, because all you're doing is directing the power of really intention is what it comes down to when you put in an acupuncture needle. You are directing the chi to where you want it to go, and certain acupoints will cause certain responses. And so we're going to talk about that. But the point is, with the Anahat system, there's so much to share. I'm trying to keep it concise. So if there's a health issue in acupuncture, let's say there was just difficulty breathing, then we would most likely open acupoints, use acupoints that relate to the lung meridian system, because the lung system starts here in the finger. It goes up right through here. This is called He Gu, large intestine 4, and this fleshy part of your hand. So there's an acupuncture meridian that goes up your arm and then up across to the other side of your nose, and the other hand goes up to the other side of your nose. So if you have sinus issues, you can massage large intestine 4, working to free up the blocked energy, and as the energy moves up the arm, you can open your sinuses, right, or headaches. That point can be good for headaches. And of course, any medical condition, you should consult with your physician, blah, blah, blah. The idea with this meditation we're about to get into is we're constantly moving energy up and down the arms and up and down the legs. The health benefits of that are amazing, not just for your arms and legs, because I'll try to show you when I get on the cushion just how floppy and loose, strong, like flexible and strong, but my body is so incredibly light and loose. Like at 47, to still feel this way and feel better every day is just amazing. So don't underestimate how simple these meditations might be. They're not really, they're simple for me. You guys might find them a little challenging, but once they're flowing well and you understand them, it's actually pretty easy. And the benefits of this are really significant. So once you understand the importance of free energy moving through the meridian systems, then you'll see just how powerful this is. All right, so that's a little introduction. Just copyright and disclaimer. If you're watching this as a recording, you should really go back and start with the introduction, which is on onlinemonastery.com. We have a 10-minute or so, 6-minute introduction, and then the 2.5-hour introduction, and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, linearly through the system. Don't just jump ahead to these meditations. Not that there's harm that could come from it, but it's pointless. You'll never grasp the system. It's like starting a yoga class and doing back bends as your first posture. It just wouldn't be a good way to start your practice. Not that it would be really bad, but you shouldn't just start with back bends as your very first pose. So same thing here. Same with Tai Chi. You don't look at an advanced Tai Chi practice and start doing the more advanced practices, right? Start from the beginning, and not that harm would come from doing the advanced practices. Although there wouldn't be harm, but awakening Kundalini too quickly or pushing yourself too fast for energetic awakenings can be really uncomfortable. I told you guys I understand Shaktipat. I know what it means to awaken your Kundalini. And I'm not gonna, I know how to do that. I can do that. If you were in the room with me, we can do some pretty profound things. Not that I'm saying we would do that, but I'm saying we actually wouldn't do that because the system will cause the awakenings to occur at the proper time. The emails I get, the questions I get show me, yeah, this is working for those of you who are going through it. Some people are getting into it slower than others, but those who are working through the system, you're starting to see the results. And again, this is a lifelong practice. So 10, 20 years of doing this, you'll be so glad you invested in it early on. But again, go at your own pace. And please don't share this with anyone. Just let the system, the way it's designed to be taught, to be the teacher. And then for those of you who are going through this as the certified Anahata meditation teachers, we'll all come together at the end, those of you who are left, in some kind of online meeting, and talk about like, what is the plan to move ahead and disseminate the teachings. So yeah, everybody just hang out on that one because I think about it more and more as we get closer to that. This is the glyph for meditation 9, lower body meridians. And I think the better way to show you, which is not here, well, all right, let's jump right to the images here. Here's meditation 8, upper body meridians. The arms are important, right? Now, I need to emphasize that because even when I do this sometimes, or up until today when I really started reflecting on it, I'm not sure people are going to get why the arms are so important. In something called Ashtanga Yoga, which we'll talk more about as we go through, it's the 8 limbs. I'm emphasizing the word limbs using a metaphor here, analogy. The 8 limbs of yogic practice. It seems like they're linear, 1, 2, 3, up to 8. And in a sense it is. When you teach it, you definitely have to teach it linear. But when you practice it, it's like all the limbs sprout not spontaneously, but all the limbs sprout at the same time. With the Anahata system, let me say it this way. When your body is developing in utero, right, you got that little tadpole looking guy in there, and then it starts unfolding and the arms spread out from it, the legs emanate out from it. So it's kind of feel like your arms didn't just like Mr. Potato Head. God didn't just put 2 arms on the side of it, your torso, and like your torso is you, your head is you. Your chakras are in the middle, so right, that area must be important, but the arms aren't important. How many meditation systems are actually talking to you about putting energy into your arms and legs? Well, this one does, and again, I didn't invent the system, so the more I do it, the more I appreciate why the energy is doing what it's doing on so many levels, in so many ways. And again, the health benefits of doing this are great, not just for your arms and legs, because the meridians of your arms and legs connect to every organ system in your body. I think that's a true statement. Dr. Venture Medicine might correct me if I make a mistake with this. And we're not teaching Chinese medicine here, so a rudimentary understanding of the meridian system will suffice for today. All right, so consider that your arms branch out of the top, more or less, of the descending triangle. So the image on the screen, we have the triangle coming down, but really we're focused on this external area. And in Metatron's cube, you see the spheres that are here. Your shoulders, everything is spherical. Most people don't move that way because yoga, Tai Chi, and opening up to both masculine and feminine energy, people are really rigid, but you see a long-term Tai Chi, like a Tai Chi teacher, a Tai Chi master, there's something different about how they stand and how they move their body, because it's like the body came from an anatomy class skeleton kind of thing. The spine is, and we'll get into this later with the Anahata system, the spine is erect, but everything else just drops down, totally relaxed. And there's no tension in the body. Therefore, the way you move and the way you feel is just different than most people because they're just so rigid. They get their occasional massage once a year. But if you're doing yoga, Tai Chi, and Anahata meditation every day, you'll have a different body. My body is radically changing since we started this system about 2 months ago. I intentionally lost weight, got more fit and trim and toned, and put my body more into the body type that works better for meditation. And the way my arms and legs feel is awesome. So I want you guys to feel that and appreciate this system. So anyway, with the understanding tonight, starts from the idea of the shoulders, branching down into the arms, and that's why we have this symbol. We also use the microcosmic orbit a lot in this practice. That, as you know, goes up the back, down the front. It integrates the 3 major levels of your being, which we'll talk about a little bit more today: the hara, the heart, and the head. So remember, we have those 3 divisions. In Chinese medicine, and this is in the training manual here, we have something called the triple burner, also known as a triple warmer. There's 12 meridians in acupuncture, And one of them, and they all relate to basically to the organ systems. You have a lung meridian, a heart meridian, a small intestine meridian, but you also have something called the triple burner meridian. And it's like, well, what is that? That's not an actual physical organ. You simply stated the triple burner is hara, heart, and head. And when you have imbalances, like too much energy caught on the head, the person can't get into their body, or they're so in their body and their energy's not going up to their head. And honestly, I don't think I've studied it enough to fully understand or explain to you why you would want to, in an acupuncture practice, open and work with that meridian, yet the Anahat system is working with it every second, right? So we're constantly opening energy from heart to head, and head to heart to heart. That's going to open that meridian, not just the meridian, it's going to open that organ system, if you will. In Chinese medicine, organs are better seen as organ systems. They're not in isolation, and they're not actually physical. So when we talk about the stomach, we're kind of talking about the physical stomach, but we're more talking about the energetic stomach on the etheric plane. As the Anahat system paces you along, it's going to, level 2 is all about this. You start focusing almost only on the etheric plane. You're not focusing on the physical anymore. And because you're doing that and opening your higher chakras in the system, you'll start eventually having out-of-body experiences. And we'll do a whole class teaching Anahat meditation to have out-of-body experiences. To do that, we start to transfer awareness to the more subtle energetics, which is the etheric body, but also the etheric plane. And once you know how to live in your etheric body and transfer consciousness from the physical to the etheric, that's when you can etheric travel. Same thing with the astral plane and the astral body, and to what we'll call soul travel, or just traveling within your own consciousness out of your body. Not in imagination, not in visualization, not just up in your head or in samadhi while aware of your body. This is literally just flying around, outside of your body wherever you want to go. And I do believe that what we're doing here, with the whole practice and these meditations, are really opening you up to all of that. So as you're breathing up and down the microcosmic orbit, you're circulating sexual energy, you're embracing hara, heart, and head. You're taking the higher spiritual down to the sexual up to spiritual, over and over through that whole loop. And then we're looping the energy through the arms and through the legs. And you'll see when I sit down, the way I move my body, it's just, it's different. It's not, I don't know anybody whose body looks or feels this way, because nobody really teaches this system. So it's interesting, to say the least. All right, so that's that. And then the next one, we have the ascending triangle. And if you imagine the spheres here in Metatron's cube, we have the idea that from the hip girdle, the pelvic girdle, and the hips on both sides, those are spherical, right? The legs emanate out of there, and the meridians emanate out of there. And in fact, it's the other way. The meridians emanate, and then the legs emanate out. Energy goes up and down the arms and up and down the legs. And if it's not happening, then you would lose your arms and legs. Your body wouldn't remain healthy. But it's not just the arms that get affected, or the legs, because again, the meridians relate to all the organ systems. So you get a block in, we'll just keep referring to, let's say, the lung meridian system, that can affect your physical lungs. So by keeping all the meridians open, you maintain the health. That is the model in Reiki, in Franz Anton Mesmer's animal magnetism, the Qigong, Tai Chi, any of those systems all understand the importance of the free flow of energy. Any Tai Chi or Qigong practitioner not only understands it, but knows what it's like. I just want you so badly to feel this. When I got into Tai Chi and Qigong in my early 20s, I was screaming to my family, please do this. And they are like, well, we're not interested in that kind of stuff. And now that my parents are in their 70s, I'm like, sorry you didn't do it. Because they're okay, but they could be 100 times better, literally, as far as how they're great people, but as far as how they feel physically, they could feel so much better. All right, so here you've got the central channel in both of these glyphs, right? We've got a meditation 8, core central channel, but predominantly microcosmic orbit, up the back, down the front. And then up I don't want to confuse you, but up and down the arms, I'll just say it that way for now. And then here, up and down the microcosmic orbit. And then this triangle descending at the bottom points represents the legs. So up and down the legs. All right, with that said, let's go back. Definitely read the training manual on your own. It's gonna just eventually be like, oh, it's actually pretty simple. But when you understand 12 meridians, yin and yang meridians, what organs they're connected to, something called the Pericardium Meridian, which the pericardium is a sac that surrounds your physical heart. It's a real anatomical structure. It's not an energetic thing. It has an energetic level, of course, but consider the pericardium as like, it's the sac that literally surrounds your heart. But energetically, it's like that which protects your heart. So in Chinese medicine, the understanding that the emotions and past traumatic events affecting your body and your health, 100% there. But how do you treat that? Honestly, I think hypnotherapy is a better way to treat that kind of stuff because it's psychological, deal with it on the level it exists on. In acupuncture, you pretty much only deal with the energetic level. So what often happens during times of trauma, the small intestine and the heart are a paired organ system. So you can notice immediately issues in the intestines during times of trauma, small and large, which relates to, in acupuncture, large intestine and lung are related. And that'll deal with sadness and grief because you've been hurt. But then with large intestine, it has a lot to do with the metal element, which is a holding on or constricting, so constipation, or just, bowel troubles, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis. Those things will happen when there's issues in those meridian systems. The small intestine, because it's paired with the heart, gets affected emotionally, usually during times of fear, because the heart deals a lot with fear or anxiety. Sometimes they say excessive joy, but it's not worth going into that. Feel as much joy as you want to. But the small intestine definitely going to have to do with the hurts that occur. It's like one of the first layers of psychological defense. Again, this is not the way they speak in Western medicine, Western psychology, but this is what you would hear depending on who you're studying with in Chinese medicine. The next layer of defense would be your pericardium, the sac surrounding the heart, and so the heart often closes, and we try to protect ourselves, and then the consciousness, the Shen, the spirit that lives in the heart, goes away. Every aspect of the organ systems in the Chinese medical model has an aspect of spirit. Your liver and gallbladder are a paired system, and that deals with what's called, I believe, the Hun, H-U-N. I don't remember all the words for this because it's not really relevant and not to this discussion, but the heart definitely deals with what's called the Shen, S-H-E-N. And Shen is basically spirit or consciousness, but all of it, all these organ systems deal with some aspect of who you are as spirit. The heart during times of trauma closes down, and the Shen dissociates or checks out. We usually close the throat chakra to separate head from heart. This is what we deal with in hypnotherapy all the time. Pretty much every one of my clients are dealing with this, and it's a aha moment for them when they're like, oh my God, that's what's happening. Do you know what's happening to me? I'm like, yeah, it's actually extremely obvious to me now what's happening. You got hurt, you closed down, all that stuff got locked up and stored in your heart and belly, and it's causing all sorts of not just physical problems, but energetic, meaning sensations that feel bad, and emotions that are buried inside that are always bothering you that don't have to be there. You don't have to have hurt, sadness, fear, anger, guilt, grief, shame stored in your system, but it is, and it blocks people. And very few people I've ever met, I don't think I've met anybody actually who's totally clear of that stuff. Oh, actually, it's not true. I have a few spiritual teachers who are pretty much totally clear of that stuff. It doesn't mean they don't feel emotion, but they don't ever block an emotion. I know about 2 or 3 people on the planet who function that way. And so this teaching is relevant for everybody. The meridians get blocked because you're suppressing emotion. And when you close down, your consciousness kind of dissociates to some degree or to very strong degrees and lives like in your head or barely in your body. That's not whole. Wholeness, which the whole 6-point, let's go to an image on the screen for, let's go here. So, I kind of keep looking at the star and the idea of a fully unfolded human being. You need to be fully grounded with a fully open heart, fully open to spirit. But when your throat chakra and your heart are closed and you're protecting your heart, you won't allow yourself love or be intimate or vulnerable, and you're living just in your intellectual, conscious, reasoning mind, you're not whole at all. And usually those people get so intellectual, so rational, they miss like 99% of who they are. Your conscious mind is brilliant. Science is phenomenal. It's not the only way to experience life or to understand things, but more importantly than just understanding, what it's like to be fully human, right? So we need to be all 7 chakras and with all meridians open. We don't talk about much in the Anahat system, the yogic nadi system, because there are 70,000 of those, and I don't have that many lifetimes. There's only 3 that really matter in yoga as far as I'm concerned. There's the core central channel, and then there's the Ida and Pingala nadis that run up the spine. All the rest are just basically the Chinese meridians. They just run up and down your arms and legs and up and down your torso. The same model in Ayurvedic medicine is true. The Indian Hindu system of medicine, Ayurveda, same teaching, energy blocks in the flow need to be cleared. So it's not really a mystery to human beings, but not a lot of human beings are spending every single day meditating in a way that opens all of these systems. You won't have to if you do yoga, because yoga is really helpful for your physical body. And if you can do Tai Chi or Qigong, that would be great. But yoga and Anahat meditation, you'll never need a chiropractor. I don't need to go to an acupuncturist or an Ayurvedic physician. Not just, because you're healthy by default. No, because like I had scoliosis as a kid. If I didn't do yoga and all this stuff, I would have health issues. Misaligned spine can cause major health issues. I don't have a single health issue at all right now. I feel remarkably healthy at 47. So get your meridians clear. And you don't have to know a whole lot to do this. You just have to do it. Okay, so this is the image for lower body meridians, meditation 9. There's an 18-minute meditation on the website. I did fix the contents thing there, but whatever, recording. So the introductory talk is just me reading the training manual because somehow I lost that recording over the years. And then there is the original 2005 recording, 18 minutes helping guide you through everything up to meditation 9 through upper and lower body meridians, incorporating the preceding meditations. All right, basically this talks about what I've been talking about, the heart, the meridians of the arms and the legs. Definitely please read it and or listen to the audio of me reading it. All right, here are, and you have to know all this for next week. I'll quiz you on it. I'm joking. You don't have to know all this. You just want a basic rudimentary understanding of energy moving up and down the arms. And honestly, when I do the practice, I don't think about, is it a yin or a yang meridian? Is it the heart or the pericardium or whatever? You don't have to think about all of that. I do want to say, when we talk about the pericardium meridian in the heart, the pericardium, if you were to look on your wrist, you got 2 tendons right in the center there. The needle, the acupoint for, what is that, pericardium? I don't have to remember the stuff anymore in my profession, but you actually put the acupuncture needle right between those 2 tendons. It's a really sensitive point. And then if you make a fist, get your middle finger, right where your middle finger goes, right there. That's also I think that's pericardium 6. It's a good point for nausea or motion sickness type themes. But then right here on the right, on the inside, right in this little area you can feel on your own wrist, right on the wrist line towards the right side, you'll feel a little indentation. That's heart 7, I believe. But that's where your pericardium meridian is in the middle, and the heart meridian is on the outside. That's just 2. But the reason I mention those is often Chinese medical practitioners and acupuncturists will treat other points instead of the heart. So very rare, unless they really understand and know what they're doing. But usually trained, don't do needles on the heart meridian. It's too sensitive, it's too precious. So they'll often treat the pericardium meridian, the sac surrounding the heart, instead of the heart directly. That's how sacred the heart is in the system. On the outside here, if you make a fist, there's this little area right there, this little divot, and what happens with your skin. That's small intestine 7. So just so you get a sense, there are acupoints all along your arms. I'll show you a picture of this. And then it's like connect the dots. The meridians are basically the dot, the lines of force that go from one chakra. Your acupoints could be considered mini chakras. So the energy is going from point to point. And it's going to go either up the arms or down the arms. Simply stated, well, let's look at it on the screen because you can't really see my body much now anyway. So all right, let me give you a little bit of training on body positioning if you're in anatomy. Like an anatomy class, you have to understand what the person's talking about, right? So if I say the anterior lateral arm, what are we talking about here? So we have a midline of the body, and there's what's called an anatomical position. Usually it's with palms facing forward and the arms down by the side. Okay, so palms facing forward, arms down by the side. Then we can describe where things are. So there's a midline of the body. Medial is going to be closer to the midline, and then lateral closer to the outside. So if we say lateral outside, medial inside, but I'll try not to use those words because we're not all programmed with that. I don't even think about that much anymore. I just do the system. I'm like, okay, lateral, medial. Trust me, it's like the explanation is complicated because I want you to understand the profound theory behind it, but the practice is actually really simple. All right, so you've got the anterior, and then anterior is the front of your body, posterior is the back of your body. Okay, so we can describe exactly where a meridian is. The lung meridian is going to be the anterior, so the front, if your body's facing forward. That's correct. Again, you don't have to think about this much, but so yeah, we have the lung, we have the heart, and we have the pericardium. They're all on the, you can tell I don't study this as much as I used to, or in that, but let me just refresh my memory for a sec. All right, well, I'm not even going to bother that so much. Just basically understand that there's meridians going up and down your arm. You have meridians that are going up the back outside of your arm and down the inside. But let me just show you. Let's just do screen share. It's just too complicated to try to use words or just the little bit you can see in my body right now. Give me a moment. Let's look at the heart meridian. Eventually, I just want to show you the big pictures of all this stuff as well. All right, here, this is good. All right, so here's the imagery of the heart meridian. We can pick any one of these, I believe. Except now you can't see it. All right, in the video, I know it's cutting off a little bit, so you can look down here. The heart meridian, technically everything has a starting point. So here you can see in the armpit, basically, is where that meridian is going to start. It's going to go down the inside. Sometimes if you want to think that's a yin, I don't even want to make mistakes the way I describe things. So super simple. The energy is moving down from the armpit, down to the tip of the finger, the very tips of the fingers. And those acupoints really hurt when you put needles in there. Also notice here in this image that the meridian connects to the actual organ system, right? So problems in the meridian can absolutely affect the organ system and vice versa. Blocks in that area will affect the way the energy flows in the arms and legs. This is why in our hypnotherapy school, we can actually look at what chakra is affected and where it manifests in the arm. So issues in the heart, often in the chakra system, will show to manifest in the region of the elbow. So we can put acupuncture needles in the elbow to affect the heart, and we would put it in the heart points that are there. So again, if we go back, like we might treat heart 3 to affect the actual region of the physical heart. So again, the emphasis, here's your pericardium point right in the middle and some between those tendons. And then you see the heart points. So you don't have to know all of this at all. You just want to understand energy goes up and down your arms. It really is that simple. Let's take a moment and we'll look at the etheric. Chinese meridian's etheric plane. All right, so here you get a sense that the meridians that go up and down the body, it goes all around the head, arms and legs, and basically energy goes up and down arms and legs. Somewhere here, we got the artwork of Alex Gray. So here in this imagery, this is exactly what we're dealing with, really. When we get to level 2 of the Anahat system, you're not focusing on your physical body anymore. You're focusing on the etheric body and on the more complex 3-dimensional grids. But again, that is pacing and leading you to very profound out-of-body experiences. So just consider energy needs to move up and down through the whole system, and any blocks are not going to be helpful. Let's take a moment and see if we can see the images from Barbara Brennan. She's an energy healer. Energy blocks. There we go. So this is the idea, these images of the body when it's really healthy, the energy body when it's really healthy. And then if there's pictures from her book, here we go. Here's when it's not, and there's other images in her book too, but here's when it's not so healthy, right? You got all sorts of weird colors and mucus, and in Chinese medicine, we call this stagnation, where the energy just gets stagnant or blocked. So her book has other pictures, and obviously we don't want to violate copyright, so to show you what's public on the internet here. But I hope you get the idea that blocks are not what you want. Okay, and then I just also want to show you, Trinity sacred geometry, and get some images in your head before we go any further. The Trinity imagery in sacred geometry should be pretty obvious, right? You start with the 1, becomes a 2, becomes a 3, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, or Mother, Daughter, Holy Spirit. And here, this image would relate to the triple burner, the idea of head, hara, and heart. I'll click on it just so you know which one I mean. Head, hara, heart. That's the triple burner in Chinese medicine, and the energy has to flow smooth up and down that. If you look at some of these other images, and it's so cool, I didn't have this when I was learning this stuff, right? I was just going to libraries hoping to find books 20 years ago. Look at this one. What does that look like? That's the Trinity, but it's a person in meditation. So what's happening, we got our legs, you got your arms, the hands going to the Maha Mudra position, the heart, the head, and there's not really a good image on this page, but we have the line going down the center, so we have the microcosmic orbit. That's what we're integrating here. And you just wouldn't be complete if you were sitting in meditation but didn't acknowledge your arms and legs. It'd be like doing yoga only for your torso, or doing Tai Chi with your arms down by your side, right? So I just don't think people in meditation really focus enough on their arms and legs. All right, let's go back to the training manual. Okay, so all you have to know is energy goes up and down arms and legs. And here, the simplest thing, the lung meridian flows from the head to the hand. So I'm looking at the yin meridians, the spleen flows from the foot to the hara. This is for our sake, not for Chinese medical practitioner. It's highly oversimplified for the sake of meditation. The liver meridian is running from the foot to the hara. Okay, so any of these except for the Ren meridian. So even here's the pericardium. That's basically what is the sac around your heart. It's not an energetic thing. It is actually real physical anatomic structure. The triple burner is, so notice you have lung and large intestine or paired meridians, paired organ systems, spleen and stomach, heart and small intestine, liver and gallbladder, kidney, urinary bladder. Pericardium and triple burner are paired, but I just want you to see how the triple burner isn't an actual physical organ. And technically none of these are. You're referring to the energy level of it. So a triple burner, hara, heart, head, having the smooth flow up and down. And then the Ren and Du meridians, we know about those now. Up the back is the Du meridian. Technically the Ren meridian moves from the perineum up to the right below at the lower lip. Yet, in this system, in the microcosmic orbit movement, we're having it go up the back, down the front. So energy can go up and down any meridian. It's not like, oh, it's got to go this one way or you're going to die. When I do Anahat meditation, you're really just breathing up and down your arms. But it kind of helps to know, all right, I'm breathing. I'd rather just explain it, in a way that's not going to confuse you. So we'll get to the exact movement. All right, so that's kind of what you need to know about how much you don't know, but so little you need to know to clear these energy blocks and open all these meridians. So please read all of what's here. The organ and meridian explanation, right? So if you have a Liver Meridian. It's connected to the liver and liver energetic system, but they're paired. So liver and gallbladder are connected, but we also have a gallbladder meridian. And then just quickly, because the emotions are intimately connected to these and they get all wackadoodle when you suppress your emotions and you have unresolved emotions. The spleen stomach is going to deal with overthinking, pensiveness, worry, but like fear-based overthinking. You get so stressed, you're thinking so much, you give yourself an ulcer. And overthinking, that'll really affect your digestion. That also relates to the pancreas, by the way. And then you have your heart, small intestine. That deals, as I mentioned before, usually with anxiety for the heart, and small intestine is also going to relate to fear and protecting the heart. I don't think I even understand small intestine as much energetically as far as the emotions go, but the heart definitely is going to relate to fear-based type anxiety. Liver, gallbladder deals a lot with anger, and gallbladder have a lot to do with indecisiveness, right? Because you've been hurt, you get scared, you get angry, and now you have trouble making decisions, so that's all linked there. Kidney, urinary bladder will deal a lot with just fear, real primal fear. The urinary bladder is definitely affected through, and the uterus through childhood sexual abuse. You'll see a lot of trauma affecting that area. You hear about chronic UTIs or hysterectomy. It's almost always connected to some type of sexual abuse from my experience in my private practice. And then pericardium, again, dealing with the heart. And triple burner does deal with the heart, but also above and below the heart, and energy can flow smooth through the body. So emotional trauma can wreak havoc on your physical body. All right, and then yin and yang, understanding that some meridians are yin, some are yang, but you really don't have to know that, except that energy is going to move up or down a yin or yang meridian. But again, you don't need to know it. And the meridian location, right? So exactly where are these? And then they flow. Where's the flow to and from? Okay, so I'm not trying to intentionally not tell you exactly what it does until we look at the very simple image that we're going to now, so that you're like, oh God, I gotta trace, all these patterns to connect all the dots. Super simple. Meditation number 8. We're gonna breathe up the back. So this is up the back around to the head, and then down the arms. And the flow is gonna be down I don't really think about this all that much. It's down the yin, so down the heart. The heart meridian is kind of what we saw. It's going down the inside of the arm and then up the top side of the arm, or the outside of the arm. Okay, so inhale up the back, exhale down the arms, but along the inside, the yin side, and then up to back up. Notice how the hands are in Gyan Mudra here. When I find myself hiking, walking, doing yoga today, my hands are naturally forming mudras, as I've been doing so much Tai Chi, Qigong, Anahat meditation, yoga, but a lot of Anahat meditation since I've been teaching it to you. My body is just spontaneously, naturally doing mudras, and the mudras are controlling where the energy goes. So we put the hands at the hara, and we pull all the energy to that area. That's very powerful. Then we saw the image of Shiv, when we're looking at the divine androgyny picture of balance of masculine, feminine energy, like the profound balance of that. And then you have the left hand shooting energy up the spine and the right hand cupping down in the region of the haras, like containing the energy and then shooting it up the spine. Here, and really any finger will do it, but each one is a slightly different feel, but it's kind of all the same thing. Here we're stopping the energy from going out and it's going back up. But in Anahat, you don't have to have your hands on your knees for this. You can keep them on at your waist when you do it, at your hara. But you could do it there. And when I was meditating today, I know we're doing like sitting still, breathing, and counting, but I do a lot of movement, a lot of Hindu devotional chanting, which can lead to singing and dancing and Tai Chi movements and spontaneous Tai Chi movements. All of that is it's passionate. It's not just sitting still. So you might remember the quote from Ramakrishna where he said, "Oh mother, please don't make me a dry yogi." So please understand, like this, I'm giving you the basics, but once you get good at any of the basics of yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong, you start doing your own flows. You start moving in your own. Like I'll just go do Tai Chi under a tree. I'm just thinking of one spot in particular right now. I like to go in Santa Barbara, California. And I'll just go, I call it Perfection Point. It's a beautiful little tree in a lake. And I'll just go out there and start doing movement. And the movement starts becoming spontaneous. But with Tai Chi, the energy is moving through the arms constantly. And again, the health benefits of that are really profound. Okay, so up the back, down the arms on the inside, up on the outsides, and then down the front. That's the movement here. Up the back, down the inside of the arm, up the outside of the arm, down the front. Okay, and then meditation. Yeah, okay, it's there. It's a little hard to see. Meditation number 9, lower body meridians. We just go up the back, down the front, and then down the legs and up the legs. Okay? And if you're really concerned about, well, where exactly, then go study those charts. And what words, what meridians, is it yin, is it yang? You can go into that if you really want to. But basically we're going inhale up, down, and then we're inhaling again down the legs, and then back up the legs. So we're following down the yang meridians and up the yin meridians is I believe what's happening, but I don't want to make a mistake or confuse you by over teaching that. Okay, so basically that's it, but consider that Trinity shape. All right, so you've got this loop, but then these loops in the legs, and I'll show you when we're sitting. If you can visualize that Trinity symbol, the microcosmic orbit is that Vesica Pisces shape, and then your legs are also that when you're sitting in meditation. Here's the microcosmic orbit again for review. Up the back, down the front. So consider that as one of those Vesica Pisces in the Trinity image, and then both of your legs are that as well. All right, so let's read. Meditation, now keep the image on the screen. Meditation number 8, upper body meridians. Inhale up the back central channel from hara to third eye. Remember, when we say hara, it's giving us a break from the sexual energy. If you've engaged the sexual energy and you're very conscious of it, which you very could be at this point, very well could be at this point, then inhale sexual energy up the back to the head. But if you're not going into the sexual energy, then hara to head, right? We have hara, heart, head. That's what the triple burner is. That's what we're integrating. That might be a debatable statement, by the way. In Chinese medicine, I don't think the triple burner is actually the head, but I like the idea of these 3 levels and moving energy smoothly through them. Okay, so inhaling up the back central channel from sexual energy or the hara to the third eye. And remember, third eye is because we're going up the back, looping over to the third eye. If we're going up the core central channel, then we're very much just in the middle. But here, microcosmic orbit, up the back, over the front. Then exhale. Now, how does it get from here down to the shoulder region? Or remember, when we do meditation 6, we exhale and it goes from here down to here. So all you have to do is you inhale to here, and when you exhale down the arms, just do it. Don't overthink. Well, how does it get from here to here? It will if you just direct it there. When the energy goes down the arms, you'll feel if there's blockages, or you won't feel the energy at all because you're just so blocked. But once you get clear enough, you'll feel, like for instance, for years, I just checked today, it's clear now, but for years, my left, my left elbow always had some, not a huge block, but there was like something. And I'm like, it just moves so much easier along the right, which is the more yang or masculine side, than it does along the left. Heart, for a lot of guys, I'm sure, like opening a heart to feminine energy, because that's what that is actually. So when you're moving energy through, you're gonna feel like, does it move through your hands totally like that, or your hands just crazy loose and limber, where there's not a single blockage, or is it hitting something? Then you'll feel maybe it goes down the right arm smooth, but it locks up on the left side. Remember, left is feminine, right is masculine. You can't avoid it in this system. You're going to unfold both in your being. There's just no way around it. You have ascending, descending, yin and yang, masculine and feminine. So as the energy comes down, it like flows down through the arms to the hands. Then when we inhale, we go up the inside, the yang side, the outside of the arms, and the inhales back up the outside of the arms, up to the head. And again, don't overthink it, just pull it up through your shoulders to the head, and then exhale down the front. So let's read. Inhale up the back central channel from hara to third eye. Exhale down the insides or the yin sides, if that helps you to get some sense, the insides of the yin meridians, the insides of the arms to the hands. And then inhale from the outside of the arms, the yang side. Yin is going to be your front, yang is your back. In the sense, like if you were to go break down a door, I remember one of my acupuncture teachers saying, if you were to break down a door, you don't do it like this, right? You don't like, oh, you don't like throw your heart into the door. You're gonna put your back into it. Your back is more yang, and your front is more yin. And the yin, the front, the yin is being more vulnerable, feminine, gentle, right? But that's your front. That's what you're exposed to the world all the time that we all try to protect. So that has to stay open. And then your back is more yang, like I got your back. It's more masculine statements. Okay. So this will balance both in your system. Once again, inhale up the back central channel from hara to third eye. Exhale down the insides of the arms to the hands. Inhale up the outsides of the arms to the third eye. Exhale, and remember, when we go to the third eye, we're getting to spirit. And then we bring all that down through the body. So every cycle is still recirculating spiritual energy, sexual energy, heart-centered energy. Now it's moving all that goodness through your arms and legs. Exhale down the front central channel from the third eye to the hara. Focus on a smooth flow of energy through the upper body meridians. Meditation number 8, upper body meridians, incorporates the arms into the meditation flows as the outer portions of the descending triangle. This meditation breathes down the yin meridians of the arms, the lungs. That's why I didn't want to say and make mistakes. Now I can read and be sure. The lungs, pericardium, and heart channels. And up the yang meridians of the arms, large intestine, triple burner, and small intestine channels. So channels are meridians, they're the same thing. This meditation also incorporates the front and back central channels of the microcosmic orbit. All right. Just read what's there. I don't think I need to elaborate on that. Okay, and then we're on meditation 9. Let's just go there. And then we're ready to get on the cushion. I don't think it'll be a 3-hour class today unless you have tons of questions at the end. Meditation number 9, lower, look at our image. All right, so we're kind of branching out from the bottom of the ascending triangle here. Utilizing the core central channel, or I'm sorry, not core central channel, but the microcosmic orbit. Inhale up. So after we finish meditation 8, right, we're going to be at the hara again, because you move through the hands. It went down the front, and we're back to the hara. From the hara, when you begin meditation 9, you inhale up the back, and then down the front. It's just one simple movement through the microcosmic orbit again. And then I'll just go through the legs, up and back with an inhale and an exhale, back to the hara. I love the feel of that because it really feels like the pyramid Trinity shape. It's really cool to feel in your body that you are the Trinity made manifest in form. There's just like nothing like it if you grasp what that's really all about. All right, so reading. Inhale up the back central channel from hara to third eye. Exhale from the third eye to the hara, or sexual energy. Hara down the front central channel. Inhale down the outsides of the legs from hara to toes. Inhale up the insides, the yin sides of the legs from toes to hara. Focus on a smooth flow of energy through the lower body meridian. Same with the arms, or legs, just like the arms. You're going to feel eventually, you might just be totally blocked. I mean, you can't be totally blocked to be dead, but you might not feel the energy flows in your extremities. But once you do, you'll feel where it gets blocked. And then all you got to do is keep doing the practice. You don't have to do much more of anything. If you want to clear the blocks quicker, then do hypnotherapy with one of our graduates, hypnotic regressions, and specifically breath work. So I'm trained in rebirthing, holotropic breathing, and integrated breathing. It's all the same thing. They just package it differently. I'm not going to demonstrate or encourage anybody here to do it, but work with somebody who's very well trained, and it'll move through these blocks really quick. So when you guys who are in our hypnotherapy school, be my client or whatever, if you know what breath work, not pranayama, but like real intense pre-birthing breath work is like, you know how it clears tons of emotional blocks. This system will do that, but it'll do it slower. It's an everyday practice. It's like water wearing away a rock, but breath work is like a hammer, breaking through wood. It's gonna open you up faster, but you're better off doing it slow every day, and this will maintain that health as well. It won't let any blockage occur in your system if you keep doing this. All right, so meditation number 9, lower body meridians incorporates the legs into the meditation. Flows is the outer points of the ascending triangle. This meditation breathes down the yang meridians of the legs, which is the urinary bladder, gallbladder, and stomach channels. Those go through your torso as well, but you don't have to worry about those. And on a hot, we're clearly breathing through the meridians in the torso. So we never had to emphasize that before, but you should know a lot of the meridians we're talking about run up and down the front and back of your body, but you're doing that by default, whether you knew it or not. Okay, so urinary bladder, gallbladder, and stomach channels, and up the yin meridians of the legs, kidney, liver, and spleen channels. This also incorporates the front and back central channels of the microcosmic orbit. All right, just read what's there. And then here's our symbols. So again, here's 6, 7, we're up to 8 and 9. Congratulations, we're getting through. Here, upper body meridians, the top of the descending triangle branches out into the arms, and the bottom of the ascending triangle branches out into the legs. That's all you need to know. And then just to talk about when to move forward. Same with all the other meditations. Once you feel that you got it, its energy is moving through these enough, you're not going to be totally clear before you move on. You want to have mastery. But proficiency means you've been able to do it. Your mind's not wandering. The energy goes up the back, no problem, to the head, down the arms, up the arms, down. And, it's okay to have blocks, but that's why we're doing the practice. But just keep going with it and move on when you intuitively feel you're ready. Right? There's no way to tell you exactly because, it's very much up to you. So some people are only in meditation 2 right now. Others are cranking it out up to meditation 7, now moving to 8 and 9 and feeling all the beauty and pleasure and love and bliss of the system. Okay, I'm going to take just a little time, not long, for question answer just before I get to the cushion, and then we can do full question answer at the end. Stop sharing. Okay, be mindful of making me talk too long now, but let's do a little bit of Q&A, especially for this stuff. Question for the end of class. Okay, I'm going to read it now. Is it possible to move through meditations 8 and 9 simultaneously? The answer would be yes, I'll explain. So that any question about what we're about to do is worthy of asking right now for sure, because we're going to go sit down on a cushion and practice, everybody. During your lecture on meditation 8, I noticed that the natural energetics of my life essence naturally moved down and up through the inner arms and legs, outer arms and legs simultaneously, naturally. Awesome, beautiful. Yeah, so like I said earlier, Ashtanga Yoga is the 8 limbs of yoga. It's not like it doesn't necessarily go from 1, 2, 3, 4 linearly. Energy doesn't move. Like when blood is flowing through your body right now, it doesn't only flow through your arms. It's like, oh, I got to move the energy, the blood through my arms now. Oh, I better remember to do my legs. It is flowing through your arms and legs right now. And if you're in touch with your energy, of course, you feel in your arms and legs. But when we do yoga, we can stretch our arms and then we can stretch our legs. All right, and you can stretch both at the same time, right? So there is a free flow to this. The system gives you foundational ideas. And then when I'm doing Tai Chi, I'm like, oh, cool, I'm moving it through my legs, my arms now. All right, now I'm going to move it through my legs. The energy moves, you dance with it. So when we do the system, do only meditation 8 by itself, only 9 by itself. But realize it's not much different than if you were doing a massage. You would massage someone's arms first, and then you would massage their legs. But you wouldn't imply that the energy isn't moving through one and not the other at any given time. And people understand massage And the meridian systems understand that you're going to massage down the, I want to be sure I say this right because I don't think about it much anymore, down the yin meridians and up the yang meridians. But it'd be okay to move the energy in other directions, like down the outside, up the inside. And you'll feel when you do it, you just feel, because like the energy does flow there. When you exhale down the arms, you'll feel when it flows down. You'll inhale, and you'll feel when it flows up. All right, so that's a good, very relevant question. Anything else that's relevant to what we're doing right now? All right, let me get a drink. This room is super warm, but I think we're okay. Let's get a drink, then we'll get on the cushion. So feel free to set up, and let's meditate. It'll probably be 20 more minutes together. All right, still here with you, setting up. I hope you are as well. Microphone. Yeah, I've been doing lots of yoga. Let's work with, you can't see. I like the socks just so you don't see my dirty feet. I'm in half lotus right now. And, I want you to see everything. All right, so sitting in some form of meditation pose. Let me just frame this properly. So assume your favorite position. So quarter lotus, this is half lotus, foot is right here. Full lotus or seiza, or sitting upright in a straight back without leaning back in the chair. And then we bow in. Hands go to the hara in Maha Mudra. Notice how with the foot here, it causes the hands to go that way. So you kind of have to lift this up to keep it from dropping down because this hand's on my foot. So it's kind of it's a very asymmetrical position actually in full lotus. Now the hands can rest comfortably in the middle, but that's a doozy. So let's just go for the sake of symmetry to, I'll go quarter lotus. Now my hands are just resting on my thighs, and the symmetry is a lot better for our camera image. All right, so again, we bow in, and remember, immediately engage your practice. So if you're counting your breaths, which is highly recommended, inhale 1. Tip of the tongue and the roof of the mouth, exhale 2. Remember, the tip of the tongue and the roof of the mouth connects the microcosmic orbit, because the dew meridian goes up the back to the upper lip, and then the red meridian technically goes from the perineum up to the lower lip, but it's going to go down the front, and the tongue connects that link. Eyes are open right now, down at about a 45-degree angle. Feel like you're lifting up like an anatomy class skeleton, so you're suspended from the ceiling, and then drop everything else down. Relax your sternum, relax your shoulders, soften your belly, and low back is slightly concave so that we're pushing the energy forward a little bit into the region of the hara. I'm taking, as I was talking, there's more energy up in my head and my face and my mouth. I'm dropping that down to the hara now as I breathe and count. Okay, so even if I'm silent, just practice descending. So I'm just going from 1 to 10. When I get to 10, I'm just starting again at 1. I'm coming into my body. My eyes are open, so I'm just being very present right here now. Keeping the shoulders soft, the spine straight, and still that lifting up feeling. And gathering all of the chi at the heart. So pulling all the energy here, just very powerful. 1, 2, just breathing all your energy, all your mind. Your legs go here, your hands go here, your low back is concaved. All the energy goes to the heart. Remember, this is Joriki, intense, concentrated power. No past, no future, just breathing. And I'm still going just because I don't feel yet that I'm fully descended. I'm just noticing thoughts, a little wandering, coming back. So I'll definitely move on when I feel I'm in fruition of this one. So for now, just keep descending. So I'm waiting and I'm getting it right now. Total silence inside. So real fruition is just no mind. Okay, so for me, I'm ready to move on, and therefore I encourage you to move on because I'm just here. Just me, just the carpet, just the mic and the desk that you don't see. I'm just sitting. Grounded, present, clear. Like, that's descending. Just sitting here perfectly clear. And I don't miss a breath or a count from 1 to 10. No mind wandering whatsoever. And ideally, that's what you get before you even consider number 2 in the training or in any given sitting period. So let's move to 2. We'll start inhaling from heart to heart, exhaling at the heart. Do that a few times or even a few cycles. Once enough energy is at the heart, just stay there. Remember, the energetic here is love, only love, self-love, love for all beings. Fruition here, forgiveness for everything and everyone, especially yourself. Just only love. So stay eyes open, hands in Maha Mudra for now. Tip of the tongue is still on the roof of the mouth. I still have concentrated energy at the hara, but I'm pulling that concentration to the heart, so there's only the heart. Remember, the heart is on a hut. It's clear, open. There's no block in the third chakra. Energy should go right from the hara, which is second chakra region, through the third chakra to the heart, fourth chakra. So if there's a block and it's not making it up, you gotta keep working on that movement. And then staying just at the heart. And when you think of yourself right now, a picture of yourself or you in a memory, do you love that sense of self, the human self? You should absolutely love you. You should adore you. No judgment about you. Only love for you. If you can't love this space right here, where you're sitting, this human body space, then you're definitely blocked to love. Total acceptance. Pure compassion. And you don't have to think about them, others outside of your skin, but all beings. You love all plants and trees and animals and people. Mostly compassion for the people. But love is compassion seeing pain, or compassion is love seeing pain. Compassion is love seeing pain. Yeah, let's go to the much more pleasant side of that and just keep thinking about the purity and the bliss and the joy of love. When I said that, my eyes wanted to close. Let's do that. You can relax your hands to your knees. You don't have to worry about a mudra yet with your hands. If mine spontaneously go there, I'll tell you. So my eyes closed. Some started feeling ready to ascend. It went from self-love to love of all beings to divine love. And when it goes to divine love, it wants to go up the spine. So my chin goes up a little. My heart is open. I'm breathing the energy up through the heart, up to through the throat. So any block in the throat would need to be addressed here. And we're breathing up the spine. Even a little bit from the hara, through the heart, up to the head. Exhaling at the head. The awareness goes to spirit. Eventually I'll forget about the hara, just gather anything that's left down there for now. Up through the heart, up to spirit. And easily, joyfully, just keeping the awareness up here. With the eyes closed, you're focusing on pure consciousness. You're not really thinking. You can breathe and count, whatever you do. But engage your practice, concentrated energy and love directed to spirit, meaning you put your loving attention on the divine. It's kind of like a balloon that was untethered. So you untie the string and the balloon naturally wants to float up your spine, up into pure consciousness, even beyond your head. You're not limited to your skull. Now, how big are you? Where do you start? Where do you stop? Where does God begin? Where does God end? It's everywhere. You're focusing in the I am presence. And the real energetic would be devotional love, or at least just concentration on the self, capital S, self. Moving into the Samadhi stages, you'd focus on Anand Samadhi, which is bliss. And to practice that, you meditate on the bliss, meaning you kind of breathing and putting your attention on bliss consciousness. Whatever you would do here, chanting internally, using mantra, you can breathe and count is fine. But be sure to engage your practice, meditating on bliss or just conscious awareness. To do this, I'm naturally practicing Kumbhak Pranayam, meaning I'm regulating my breath, barely breathing. Holding at the top of inhalation, so there's silence. As I inhale and gently hold, you don't have to do this. Just helping you understand things you can do. And if you understand the bandhas yet, you pull Mula Bandha, root locking, Uddiyana Bandha, upward rising. I can explain those more later. And Kumbhak Pranayam. There's the other stages of Ashtanga Yoga. If you understand them, you can move into them. If not, just keep holding your attention on pure conscious awareness. I'm very aware of the ascending triangle. All the energy is pouring up to spirit. I'm very much aware of the core central channel, energy moving up the spine to spirit. I'm just gently directing it there with the breath, with my conscious awareness. In fruition here, where I feel I'm ready to move on, it's when there's no words. So I'm really aware of spirit. There's just spirit. So if you find the presence of God, then you're ready to move on. And my awareness is fully there. I care about nothing else. There's nothing more delicious or desirable, so there's nothing else to think about. All right. Before we go down, well, let me check. Yeah, before we continue, I'm going to explain. So I'm going to open my eyes and just teach for a moment. The yogic system with what are called the band or the bandhas, as you hear pronounced in the West, it's easier to say bandhas, so we just do it with the Western tongue. There are 3 bandhas, and then you have this whole science of pranayama. Let's just talk about the things I alluded to now. So Mula Bandha, Mul means roots. This is the first chakra at the very base of the spine. Bandha is to lock. So root locking. Here where it's like a Kegel exercise, I'm not really familiar with those, but people say that. Like if you're trying to stop urinating, it's kind of like that. I'm pulling up, I can feel it at the perineum, in between the genitals and the anus, and I'm lifting that area and I'm locking it. I'm like tensing that area a little. It's not really the legs. It's literally the muscles in that area that are being squeezed in and up. Eventually, it's just natural in a sense, but it is tensing of a muscle, so it can take some effort. So that's Mula Bandha, and you don't always have to do it when you ascend, but realize this root locking will keep the energy from dropping down and out, and it'll force it to go up. Then Uddiyana Bandha is lifting up in the obliques, where not the middle in your rectus abdominis muscles, you need to keep that soft so you can breathe here. But with Uddiyana Bandha, we're lifting up and pulling up. So what you're doing is pulling on Mula Bandha and forcing the energy up the spine. Right, so where my hands go, it's up. When that's directed up the spirits, and we hold the breath up here, then essentially what I'm doing energetically is saying to spirit, if you will, like, I'm going up to you, nothing else matters. I've locked the sexual energy, I've locked the external movements, I'm not moving my body, I'm not doing anything, I'm just going up to spirit. All my breath, all my life force, all my devotion, all my being goes to spirit. And then again, Kumbhak Pranayam, and so just relax your body if you need to. Kumbhak Pranayam is to hold the breath, and usually it's done at the top of the inhalation, especially while we're up here right now. And when you exhale very quietly, ideally, again, no mind. And as I explain Samadhi more throughout the training, we'll go through those other stages beyond pranayama. All right, let's drop down to the sexual energy. I'm just going to rest my hands on my knees. Chin goes down a little bit. We'll keep the eyes closed. They could be open. So pulling the energy down from the head down to the sexual energy. It's just like meditation number 1, descending, but we're focused on the first chakra region now, down at the genitals. I'm not leaving spirit, I'm just letting spirit like a waterfall descend down the descending triangle to the very base of the descending triangle. Think about your tailbone. Your pelvic girdle is very much a V shape there. This is not excited sexual energy. It's just being aware of that region of your body. And it really doesn't have to be overtly sexual or pleasurable. I mean, it is for me, but it's just very matter of fact. It's just that area of the body. You don't have to always be like turned on or excited. Just, yeah, that's that area of my body. Ideally, self-love is going down here because we're going down through the heart. And we're descending, so we have that focused idea again. Embrace, allow, accept. Welcome, just welcome it in. Everything about you as a sexual being. No judgment, just, yep, there's the sexual energy. The spirit doesn't judge, the heart doesn't judge. And the lower chakras are just meant to be pleasurable, actually. So remember, we have spirit at the head, love at the heart, pleasure in the lower chakras. That's all. Anything else is your own nightmare and doesn't exist. It is spirit, love, and pleasure. You don't have to use the sacral and cranial pumps. It's not an official part of the system, but let's use them now. Sacral pump will push the pelvic girdle forward and the tailbone will move away from the genitals. So that's the sacral pump pulling the energy from the sexual energy up. You can do root locking again if you want to, Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha upward rising. If that's too much, don't worry. We're just going to inhale sexual energy up the spine to the head, up the back central channel, the Liver Meridian, and we're going to exhale it at the head. When you do the cranial pump, the head will go back on the inhale, and as the exhale, the head will kind of come back to its normal position. So with the cranial sacral pump, it'd be this. Inhale, sacral pump, pulling the energy up the spine, up towards shoulders to the head, cranial pump, head goes back. Exhale, spine goes normal, straight again. The energy circulates to the brain. Again, you don't have to do that, but it definitely helps. Inhale, sexual energy, sacral pump, spine, cranial pump. Exhale, head. We're taking all the sexual energy to God. It's really like the essence of brahmachari or celibacy. Not that you have to be celibate or brahmachari, but while you're practicing now, you're saying, God, this moment, all of my being goes to you. All of my pleasure, all of my love is going to my source. Again, inhaling sexual energy up the back central channel to the head, but really spirit, exhaling it up into spirit. Again, you're ascending now. It's very blissful for me, just so you know what fruition is feeling like. It's delicious. There's just like pure love and pleasure and light moving up and down my spine. Predominantly up, but when I come back down to the sexual energy, it goes back down. Right, so circulation meditation 5, we're pulling it up to the head, circulating at the head, but every time we gather it again, we have to go back down to the sexual energy and inhale it up the back, exhale it at the head. That feels complete for me now. Open and clear and perfectly pleasurable. Only pleasure, only spirit, only love. And I have concentration. Then meditation 6, the 6-pointed star. Inhale to spirit at the head region. Exhale to the shoulders. Soften your shoulders to open to the energy to come down. My fingers are in Gyan Mudra. I'm not sure when that happened. So thumb and index finger touching now. So again, we'll start inhale to head. Exhale, shoulders. Inhale, hara, or sexual energy. Let's just do sexual energy. Exhale, kidneys. Inhale to the head. Exhale to the shoulders. Inhale to the sexual energy and the hara, because it's very concentrated, very powerful. Exhale, disperse it up to the kidneys and the internal organs of that region. Inhale up, the ascending triangle to the head. Exhale down to the shoulders, soften your shoulders, open the lungs and heart. Inhale down through the heart, through the solar plexus. Hara, sexual energy. Exhale, kidneys on the right, liver, gallbladder, left, spleen, stomach, pancreas, energetically speaking. Inhale up, ascending triangle to the crown. Exhale, shoulders, soften, open heart. Inhale, pull spirit down all the way into the body, down to the sexual energy. Exhale, kidneys, internal organs, adrenals. Inhale up to the crown. Exhale, shoulders. The heart is the center of this. So you can always be aware of your heart as the energy moves around it. Inhale, hara, sexual energy. Exhale, kidneys. Inhale, head. Exhale, shoulders. Inhale, sexual energy. Exhale, kidneys. Inhale, spirit. Exhale, down to the shoulder. Inhale, gather spirit down to the sexual energy. Exhale, nourish the kidney region with it. In your adrenals, people with adrenal exhaustion. Inhale, pull that up to spirit. Exhale, shoulders, lungs. Inhale, hara and sexual energy. Okay, and I feel like it's ready to move to meditation 7, the star reversed. So it's at the hara right now, so I'm going to exhale up. I know it's complicated for people. I'm going to exhale up the descending triangle, because that's where the energy was. Inhale up the back central channel to spirit. Exhale down the ascending triangle. Inhale down the front central channel, the sexual energy. Exhale, sexual energy up the descending triangle. Inhale up the back central channel to spirit. Exhale, spirit down the ascending triangle into the body, down to the level of the kidneys. Inhale, front central channel. Exhale, up, ascending triangle. Inhale, up, back central channel. Exhale, spirit down, ascending triangle to kidneys, expansive. Inhale, red meridian, front central channel. Exhale, up the descending triangle. Inhale, back central channel. Exhale, down the ascending triangle. Inhale, front central channel to sexual energy. Exhale, sexual energy up the descending triangle to the shoulders. Inhale, back central channel to spirit. Exhale, spirit down to the body, to the kidney. Inhale, front central channel. Exhale, up the descending triangle. Inhale, back central channel. Do your best to keep going. Let us take a moment in silence. I can't describe what fruition feels like. It's too elaborately wonderful, but I'll just tell you I'm feeling that, so we'll move on. We're starting at the region of the hara, but focused on the back, the sacrum. largely, but the energy from the hara. We're going to inhale up the back central channel to the head. Exhale down the insides of the arm to the hands, all the way to the fingertips. My hands are in Gyan Mudra, so the energy isn't leaking out of my hands. Inhale up the yang meridians, the outsides of the arms, to the head. Exhale down to the hara. Again, you can always count your breaths. So let's breathe in count. Inhale 1 up the back central channel to the head. Exhale 2 down the insides of the arms to the hand. Inhale 3 up the outsides of the arms to the head. Spirit. Exhale 4 down the front central channel to the hara and even the sexual organs. Number 5, inhale up the back central channel to the head. 6, down the insides of the arm. 7, up the outsides of the arm. 8, down the front central channel. 9, inhale up the back central channel. 10, down the arms. And here you can just kind of go back to 1 again, or you can count to 12, sometimes works better. So inhale up the arms. Exhale down the front central channel. Let me explain with my eyes. We'll switch these legs. Explain the counting with the breathing. So we count every single breath in the most basic level of practice, which is really good. So I inhale up the back 1. Exhale down the arms 2. Inhale up 3. Exhale down 4. But then 5 is up the back. 6 down the arms. 7 up the arms. 8 down to the front. Now I got this 9-10 loop. Now you probably have to keep going with the arms before you're ready to move to meditation 9 for the legs. But after I do 9, 10, I can move in those final breaths. I can just start moving into the legs. You might want to spend a few minutes there. So either count to 12 if you want to, or just let the last one from 9, 10 just go up and down. So up the back, down the front, and then start again at 1, up the back, down the arms. So if you look at my arms, like there's no tension here. It couldn't be any looser. And that's from yoga, tai chi, and Anahat meditation. Like there's no tension whatsoever. You can see my shoulders. Like this is totally loose. No pain, no discomfort. I want to just encourage you guys. Your system should feel this free and this open. Okay, then once we finish that one, we go up the back, down the front, and that's really the beginning of meditation 9, the lower body meridians, because we just do microcosmic orbit once, then we do down the outsides of the legs, and then up the insides of the legs. Okay, so it'd be inhale up, exhale down, then inhale, exhale. Once again, inhale up, exhale down, inhale around the outsides, inhale up the yin or the insides, the insides. And all the energy is going right back to the sexual energy here as well, of course. So microcosmic orbit takes it to the sexual energy or the hara, right? If you're like, I don't even want to think about sexual energy now, then the hara is always right there. So inhale up and down, microcosmic orbit, inhale, exhale. So I'm going to put my hands, I encourage you, put them at your lap, just left hand on top of right. Eyes are closed for now. Inhale up the back. Exhale down the front, microcosmic orbit. Inhale down the outsides of the legs, to the feet, to your toes. Exhale up the insides of the legs to the sexual energy hara region. Inhale up the back to the head, over the front. Exhale down to the sexual energy hara region. Inhale through the outsides of the legs to the feet. Inhale back to the Hara. Feel the Trinity shape here. There's a Vesica Pisces, the fish's bladder, the oval shape of the microcosmic orbit. And then there's a pyramid shape with the legs, which is the two other Vesica Pisces. Inhale up, back. Exhale down front. Inhale through the outsides of the legs to the toes. Exhale, toes to Hara. Keep going, just taking a moment in silence to feel it. And in case you're wondering, I make little micro movements with my body anytime I feel tension or block. It's not like you must sit absolutely still. If you feel like you need to readjust your shoulders or something or tweak your spine, do it for sure. So what this is doing is it's not just going to spirit. It's not just going to sexual energy. It's just not just going to the heart. It's kind of forcing you back into your body where you belong while you're doing the human thing. And once you come fully in, we can talk about how to go out. But most people aren't really in or out. They're just all wackadoodle. So you want to be fully in your arms and fully in your legs, and don't resist that. Like I'm here and I'm not the body, but I'm one with the body. My consciousness is permeating my arms and my legs. My breath energy is permeating my arms and my legs. Let's do meditations 8 and 9 again briefly. Start with upper body meridians. You're going to inhale up the back to the head. Exhale down the arm. Inhale up the arm to the head. Exhale from head to Hara. This meditation 8 upper body meridians. Inhale, back central channel to the head. Exhale down the arm. Inhale up the arm. Exhale front central channel. Inhale back central channel. Exhale down the arm. Inhale up the arms to the head. Exhale head to Hara. It's good to form some kind of mudra with your hands, fingers touching, thumb and index finger, or have your hands in your lap so the energy doesn't escape out. So I can put my hands in my lap and do it once again. Inhale up the back. Exhale down the yin meridians of the arms, the yin inside. Inhale from the hands back up. I kind of like it better with my hands in my lap for this one. Exhale down the front. Let's go to meditation 9. Legs, lower body meridians. Inhale up the back central channel. Exhale down the front central channel. Inhale down the legs, outsides. Inhale up the yin insides. Inhale up the back, which is yang. Exhale down the front, which is yin. Inhale down the outsides of the legs, yang. Exhale up the insides, yin. Inhale up the back. Exhale down the front. Inhale outside to the legs, to the toes. Exhale insides of the legs, to the hara region, sexual energy. Inhale that up to spirit. So we're acknowledging spirit, then exhale, we're going all the way back down to the lower chakras, but then all the way down to the legs as you inhale, and exhale back to the hara. So that's where it ends at this stage of things, and it's not the end. It feels actually very incomplete for me right now, but this is how we teach it. So where do you end? You could end in your hara, because all your energy is here, your legs, your sexual energy, everything is there. So stay there, perfectly good. In fact, it doesn't even feel right to me to go to the heart right now, so I'm going to stay fully descended, fully in the middle of my arms, legs, like I'm totally down in my lower chakras right now. But I'm aware of the whole system. So usually we end in the heart, but this is only a week or more for you to end here, and I would suggest you do it. There's no harm in that. You won't know what it's like to live in your lower chakras for a while. So that's good. Next meditation is one of my favorites, and that deals a lot with the heart again. So it's up to you where you end. I'm going to end by putting my hands to my heart in prayer, in pranam. And then I'm going to bow out. And just take a moment while I'm sitting here just to talk through it a little bit. Then we'll go back to the computer and do Q&A. So the whole system is complete. We're learning it step by step. So remember meditation one, we're breathing at the heart. Meditation two, we pull the energy up the core central channel, which deals with second chakra, third, and fourth. We're going up through here. Then when we go, so it's number two, heart center. Then number three, through the fifth chakra, up to your sixth and even seventh chakra. Meditation three, ascending. We get very intimate with, connect to spirit. We can forget about our body. That's not complete as a human being. So then we inhale all of that down. Meditation four, to the sexual energy. Cultivate that, be with that, start to heal that. Feel how good that starts to feel. Then we inhale, meditation five, circulation. We're sublimating the sexual energy to spirit, transforming it into higher consciousness, circulating at the head. Right, so circulating. Then we start recirculating, recycling it through the whole thing. Six-pointed star, head, shoulders, hara, sexual energy, kidneys, all centered around the heart. Crown, shoulders, sexual energy, kidneys, crown, shoulders. Again, all centered around Anahata chakra. And then once that feels complete, it usually goes up to the crown, and then just like a waterfall, just pours out and expands down to the kidney level. Then we pull it down the front central channel. Exhale up the ascending triangle up through the shoulders. Inhale up the back central channel, and that's that whole movement of the star reverse. And then once we're back at the head, it might just kind of drop back down to the hara, and then I begin meditation 8, upper body meridians. Inhale up the back, exhale down the arms to the hands. Again, when I move my arms and hands like this, there's no block. Everything just flows really smooth, through and then back up, and then back down the front central channel. And that doesn't feel complete because I've got my legs. So then meditation 9, inhale up the back, exhale down the front. It's just a beautiful, simple microcosmic orbit movement. And then through the legs, inhale to the toes and exhale to the hara. And again, up the back, down the front, inhale through the outside to the legs, exhale, and it'll end back at the hara for now. The meditation system never ends just there, but we've got 10, 11, and 12 to cover, which I think we do all of next lesson, I forget. But within 1 or 2 weeks, you'll know all meditations 1 through 12 for level 1. All right. All right, great. Let's open Q&A time and sharing thoughts, feedback. So we decided to save most question type themes for the end. Wow, we did that in 2 hours, so not too bad. All right, let's see where you guys are at. Let me know, questions, thoughts. It's incredibly difficult to explain with words how amazing both meditations feel. During the latter part of the guided meditation, I began to feel the blooming of my Anahat center. To be fully integrated in your body is beautiful. Thank you. All right, beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, you know, I don't know that everybody can get it until you can get it. What it feels like to be so connected to spirit, but to be fully in your body and have the energy moving through every cell of your being. Like when you can feel your whole body and there's not a single blockage, you're just all loose and tingly and open, is an amazing way to walk around this planet. I was walking in the woods today. I felt like it's like a, I don't know, like this celestial being, like a keeper of the forest, just like floating through the trees. It's you know, this beautiful feeling of what it's like to walk on this planet. It feels like Adam and Eve kind of stuff. Like, you know, like, I'm not saying that really happened, but what's it like to just walk on the planet in the purity of how God created you? You know, I'm not saying it's only creation, it's so much bigger than that. But yeah, like when you're that integrated, it's fully descended, fully human, but fully open to spirit. And to me, that is like walking in the woods like that. It really does. Like being in nature, it feels like just the purest, primal level of being, but the perfection of what you were meant to be before we became insane. Great. Somebody said, excuse me, how many steps would be for meditation 8? And how many steps would be for meditation 9? Great. Thank you. No, I'm glad you asked. It's a little confusing because the breathing and counting, while so fundamental to the basic practice, actually eventually you might let go of the counting, and then you just go as long as like up and down, and then so like, you know, up the back, then arms, then down, and that'd be a count of 4, right? Up the back is 1, down the arms is 2, up the arms is 3, down to the heart is 4, and then if you repeat that, it goes to 8. So actually, you know, so the breathing counting, the counting is just a practice. It's the essence is the movements. So Anahat, because it has 12 meditations, the number 12 is actually more sacred in a sense in this system. I don't want to say sacred as if 10 isn't, but 12 is actually more the real number. And you might do that on that one so you don't get all weirded out about 9, 10, what happens in that. So you might count to 12. And then how long do you do that? Do it for as long as you can, because by then your legs might be falling asleep. So, you know, just spend a couple of minutes, not really how you count your breaths, just spend a few minutes there. And then eventually you'll feel what it's like when things are really open and flowing. But that's going to take a long time, excuse me, depending where you're at with things. You know, some people have like physical body injuries and they'll never feel what that feels like, but it's still worth doing. So it's just part of our daily practice now. And I would say, just like any meditation, stay with it until you feel you have a sense of fruition and then move on. But you're not going to feel fruition of this for a while, especially if you're not doing yoga, Tai Chi, and Qigong and eating really pure and healthy. And again, I'm always going to encourage a vegan diet throughout these 2 months or so that we've been doing the training. My breakfast now is 2 pieces of Ezekiel toast. I'll finish the question in a moment. 2 pieces of Ezekiel toast with Kite Hill almond cream cheese, so totally vegan, and then 1 piece of bread, and then hummus on the other, and a piece of soy cheese. And that's it. Like perfectly fine until lunch. Lunch is quinoa, red chard or kale, pretty much that, and then butter beans, like, you know, nice white beans. I'm not grooving on brown beans these days, or even a dookie beans, which are good for you. So like very pure. And then just a really nice light sauce, and like that's it. And again, that's pretty well vegan unless the sauce is maybe a little dairy. And then same thing basically for dinner. Then if I'm hungry, I'll have an energy bar for a snack, and that's it. And I probably lost about 10 pounds since we started this, you know, very intentionally. I bulked up more before through bodybuilding, and I'm like, that's not actually the best body for meditation. So yeah, I've just been letting my body do, like, match what it means to be an Anahat meditation, yogi, Tai Chi practitioner, which is not as much. I'm still integrating a lot of the workout themes, and I hope to actually share with you guys more about yoga, meditation, yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong, and working out later in the training. But for now, I hope that just gives you a sense of where things are going for me and how that might help you. So yeah, to answer that question again, just keep going through it as long as you can or you want or need to for meditation 8. And then if it helps, count to 12 to not get weird about that 9, 10 breath. And then once you're in the legs, same thing, just do it for a few minutes and then move on. I really wouldn't wait until fruition or proficiency, certainly not mastery, to move on. The next meditation, number 10, is called Wings. And I hope to take some time to get some good imagery for you and show you what's going on. It's amazing. When you walk through the woods and you're like, I got wings. Like you feel them blossoming. And then when you're out of your body flying, it's like you have wings. It's an amazing feeling. So you wouldn't want to miss that by waiting in this. So I would say count to 12 for each one of those if that helps you. And then spend a few minutes on each one. And you're going to get benefit from it for sure. Okay, great. And remember, this is like a 10-year practice. Even though you can learn it maybe all in 4 months, ideally, remember it was supposed to be once a month just to get through the first 12. And then another year to get through levels 2, 3, and 4. So that's 2 years just to really learn and practice the system. And then just like yoga, Tai Chi, or Qigong, you're talking about a lifetime practice. So you commit to like 10 plus years of doing it. You won't stop after you've done like 10 years. You just like, it's just part of who I am. I don't do it to attain anything anymore. I do it just like eating healthy and going for walks in woods and working out is just part of a healthy lifestyle for me now. You can do it with some sense of an attainment for spiritual goals, but that'll happen anyway just by doing the practice. But if that motivates you to do the practice, awesome. Okay. When we meditate up and through the heart, I feel a burning sensation. Is that indicative of a block or part of the energy moving? No, it would be some kind of block. Now, there might be physical stuff going on, but still. So in Chinese medicine, you have this idea of what's called rebellious stomach chi. And basically it's like heartburn. Now, I don't know if that's what this person is asking about, but the energy doesn't always flow the right way. Your stomach chi should stay down in your stomach. It shouldn't be going up through your heart and trying to puke out of your mouth. Sorry, but this acid reflux thing is obviously not healthy. So as we descend, the energy should start to know where it's meant to be. And then the heart, for a lot of people, is filled with a lot of emotional blocks, right? There's a lot of sadness and hurt, a lot of fear, and there could be a lot of anger. And then a lot of the anger gets stored down in the solar plex region. So as you're opening this core central channel, a lot of toxic stuff can start, and I mean like emotional, energetic stuff can start coming up through the heart and through the throat. You'll feel that there. It's just same basic advice, just keep doing the system, keep refining and purifying the diets. And, of course, if it seems serious, get medical attention. But generally, it's just like like you should feel only pleasure, bliss, love, comfort, perfection. Anything else is your own block for sure. But sometimes it's clearing a block. And here's a thing that might help for this person and everybody. In yogic practice, we have something called Tapasya. Tapas or Tapasya is often translated as a purification through fire. My teacher in India, who's the happy guru, he said, Tapasya is to hold a thought continually in the mind that causes the meditator to be happy. That's good. That's a good explanation. But true Tapasya, where you're happy just by breathing no matter what, is it's a state of the gurus. For us, Tapasya is often translated as burning through your emotional block. So every time you're moving energy up and down through the heart, it's going to hit any blockage that's there. And when the energy finds resistance, it's usually experienced as heat. You might notice hot and cold sensations or cold sensations or cold clammy sensations, but it's all the energy just working to rebalance your system. So I think that's the answer to that question. Just keep, it's a block, and just keep moving energy through until you don't feel that anymore. Someone said, when we were practicing the heart meditation, I felt almost like heartache. See, yep, not so much a block, but an achy energy. Ah, that's a block. Is that also part of the heart experience before it becomes fully open? Yes, it felt super challenging to inhale down to the legs. I'm so used to inhaling up or down, but out along the legs was challenging. I think I visualized the movement to help me create intention in the direction. Yes, you can definitely visualize it to get it going the way it needs to go. But in time, you're going to feel it. Now, remember, energy can go like up or down the legs. You don't have to know which are the yang and yin meridians, but there's a reason in Chinese medicine they go in those directions, and eventually they will. But remember, a lot of people are very out of balance and they don't even know how out of balance. When I do breath work with my clients, I watch and I observe something that I call disjointed breathing. I can barely fake it, but when you inhale, a proper inhalation, the belly fills, the diaphragm muscle goes down. Then the lungs will fill because the diaphragm muscle went down, causing lower air pressure in the lungs, and the air moves in. And then the chest will lift a little just because the lungs expanded. So a proper breath, inhale. And then exhale. The inhale is active because we're tensing the diaphragm, pulling energy in. The exhale is passive, we're just relaxing. But when I watch disjointed breathing, the chest goes up and then the belly goes out. Chest, belly, chest, belly. It's so weird and so wrong. But I'll say, okay, just breathe like this. Don't do it. This is breathwork breathing, and it can cause major emotional releases. So you should do this under facilitation if you do it a lot. We can do a couple breaths right now. It'll be fine. When I inhale, my belly is moving down and out. When I exhale, it goes up. My chest is only moving because air is moving and filling my chest cavity, my lungs. A lot of people are very backwards about that, breathing up here. You're not supposed to breathe up here with your pectoral muscles are not meant for breathing, they're meant for moving. So the diaphragm muscle is the muscle for breathing. So this idea of not being able to breathe down into your legs, well, it's not a practice most people do. But as you can tell from some of the feedback and what I'm telling you, when you get good at getting it down to the legs, yeah, it's going to flow down the way the meridians flow. But for a lot of people, it can be disjointed. So yeah, inhale, and it goes down, and then exhale, it'll flow back up. And you'll feel where it's meant to flow. But you can study the meridians online if you want, and read the training manual, and you'll get a sense of exactly where 5,000 plus years of Chinese medicine has said, yep, that's how the energy is supposed to flow. But remember, for most people, when they start a practice like this, energy does not flow properly. Most people don't know about the star, right? I mean, like most people, I didn't know about it until it came to me, and I've studied this stuff like crazy. Even after all my research, I still haven't ever discovered this meditation system that does moves the energy in these ways. And then the star reverse, that's a crazy movement of energy. But that is what the energy does at times as well. It goes up the ascending triangle, but also goes down the ascending triangle. For the legs, yeah, you can inhale down the outsides, exhale up the insides, and that's the way it should flow. But yeah, that'll be a practice. But you'll be so grateful to be like restless leg syndrome. You're probably not fully in your body. Right, so get into your, it's like when I do out of body travel, I'll leave the body, totally not in it. Then when I come in, it's like a hand slipping into a glove. Right, it's like you're literally getting fully back into the thing. Most people, I would say, are mostly out of their body. They're just caught up in their head. And they don't know what it means to feel grounded. I wasn't, for God's sakes. In my early 20s, I was such a space cadet because all I was doing was ascending. And I knew about Zen, but I often didn't practice Zen when I was doing my ascending stuff. I just be out, 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 out. I did 2 months of total retreat before I went to the Zen monastery. I was in my body almost every night, mystical experiences, angelic visit stuff. And then I get to the monastery and they're like, nope, focus on your heart. And all that mystical stuff just stopped. And I asked the monks and the abbot of the monastery and other senior monastics, and they just kept telling me to keep doing it. Keep focusing your heart up. Meditate with your eyes open. Keep focusing your heart up. And it was so good because I learned to be grounded. But I missed all the other stuff. When I left the monastery and went to the ashram, I started doing ascending again because I missed it so much. And then that's when I started meditating for an answer of how you can have both. And that's when the system came to me. So it's pretty advanced stuff, really. So, guys, remember, 1 to 2 years to learn it, and then many years of practice. All right, good. Thank you for that. I get a little confused when I'm working with the legs. I tend to inhale from my toes and exhale through my insides of my legs. Yeah, so similar to exactly what we were saying before. Just learn about, through studying the training manual, repeat this video, perhaps study the meridians online. You can Google anything now. Find out, where do the meridians of the legs flow? Yeah, so inhale up, exhale down, and then inhale down the outsides of the legs, because the yang meridians are flowing down that way. And it's possible I'm wrong in what I say, so I encourage you to research it, just because I don't think so much about like yin yang, but like inhale down the, this is correct, inhale down the outsides, exhale up the insides. That is the flow of the meridians, the energy through the legs. And again, same with like the arms. I inhale up to here, I exhale down the inside, just flowing down the heart meridian and the others. And then I'm inhaling up the outside. So yeah, just keep practicing. That is how the energy is supposed to flow. But again, for most people, the energy is not flowing properly. My body started spiraling early on in meditation tonight, rocking slightly and then circling, and stopped once my back started aching from sitting straight. I'll be glad when my back is stronger. Thank you. Yeah, yoga was designed for meditation. I love Tai Chi and Qigong, but at some point I had to choose a path because I was doing both so much, and my teachers were like, you gotta choose one and go really deep into one. So I chose yoga, but I've never let go of Tai Chi. And both practices, especially because Tai Chi, we do a lot of stretching, we start the movements. And I would often say to my Tai Chi teacher, I was like, I think the stretching is more beneficial than the movement practice. But now I can see the incredible benefits of the movement practice. But yeah, the stretching makes you, if you gotta have some kind, so in yoga and Tai Chi, but whatever path you're really choosing, you wanna develop flexibility, relaxation, calm, soft, relaxed body, but strength, and then balance, like at least those 4, right? So flexibility, strength, balance, relaxation. There's lots of other benefits. Yoga, you can move energy through the body for sure. In yoga, we have something called drishti, which is like a gaze point. So if you are trying to do something to do with the screen here, let's say those of you know, in downward facing dog, you're looking up to your navel. In something like cobra, where you're arching up, you're looking up to your third eye. When arms go up overhead, you are looking up to your hands. It's called the drishti. Wherever the eyes are going to go, the energy is going to follow. Right? But in Tai Chi, we're moving our body all around. There's something called cloud hands. We're gathering, it's more than just right here, but I'm saying in the camera, I'm gathering the chi in my hands. My attention is there. And then I can move that chi through my body, or even beyond the body. Okay, so yeah, just to sit better. So yoga was designed to sit meditation for long periods of time, and because of all the benefits that come from it. So yeah, you're going to struggle a lot with meditation if you're not doing yoga or Tai Chi. Qigong is easier to learn, and there's something you guys might like that's easy to learn called Tai Chi Cha. Tai Chi is spelled normally T-A-I and then C-H-I, but then Cha is C-H-I-H. I believe there are 16 main movements. I do most of them. I don't remember all 16. I probably remember, but I don't follow the exact system. But I was doing them today. I probably did 3 or 4 of those movements. But again, it becomes very spontaneous and flowing. We're not bound to any one system anymore. So yeah, do those things, and meditation will be so much easier. And again, the more vegetarian, vegan you can be in your diet, the better your body's going to feel as a meditator for sure. Meat is so heavy energetically. And it's okay sometimes, like for a building diet or for really grounding if you need it. But again, really I encourage everybody, free range, organic, cruelty-free, and as pure as you can get as far as all that stuff goes. Great. Somebody said, congrats on the weight loss. I go up and down as I want to. I'm never like obese, but thank you. Yeah, no, it's just it's a choice for me. I chose to bulk up and get bigger, and then I chose to refine down and get thinner. And yeah, for meditation, this always feels better for sure. So thank you. And then she said, do you feel that intermittent fasting is another great diet regimen for this meditation system? I'm currently following an intermediate fasting pescatarian diet, and during most days of the week, I eat only once daily. So for me personally, just for me right now, I don't like fasting. In Chinese medicine, they say every day you don't eat, you lose qi. That's true. But there's times when people are so toxic and so full of all this other stuff that fasting can be really good. So remember, we have building diets, sustaining diets, and eliminative diets. Before we got into this whole hot thing, I was doing more building. I was getting closer to 200 pounds again. But again, I mean, like protein shakes and by eating 6 times a day. It wasn't like I was getting fat necessarily. Although in your 40s, it's a little harder to get like super ripped when you're, in your 40s. But anyway, like I was intentionally building. Eliminative would be like raw food, vegan, maybe some pescatarian, sure, and then fasting, sure, intermittent. But you can't sustain that forever. I'm pretty much, the diet I just described is very sustaining with a little bit of eliminative. The only time I feel like if I want a little bit more building, I might do like a really thin crust, like even a cauliflower crust pizza with some like a really good organic mozzarella cheese. And then, like a really nice, maybe just a tomato sauce. Like to me, that's indulging. It's like a small 200-calorie pizza that feels a little bit more solid in my stomach. I don't do much pasta anymore. So yeah, you can do super clean and still sustaining, not overly building, which can feel too heavy for meditation, and not overly depleting. So I won't go a day without food. I used to fast, but it made me too skinny and too weak. And that's okay at times. And you'll leave your body left and right when you're fasting a lot and doing all this stuff. But yeah, to me, it's about sustaining. I run multiple companies, I have multiple staff people. There's like, I'm pretty chill about all of it. I don't have to work that much, but I have major responsibilities. And I'm not willing to be a space cadet anymore. So my current diet, rooted in whole grains as the main staple, rooted in leafy greens and veggies as the secondary. And then, yeah, protein is going to be beans. Combining beans and rice is a complete protein. Quinoa is a complete protein. Hummus. And then quite often flaxseed oil, just to get good healthy oil in there. And that's about it. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of fasting personally right now, but not generally for everybody. But just understand the building, eliminative, and sustaining diets, and realize fasting is eliminative and it's not a long-term solution. But yeah, I think for meditation, it's great if it feels right for you. Okay. In yoga, sometimes I feel like being in a chiropractic. I can hear my bones cracking and ailing, I guess is the word. Yeah, so keep doing it, right? Again, I was diagnosed as a kid with scoliosis, and my body is actually like the perfect perfect proportions to match these geometrical grids. So we could all be, and maybe I'm sure a lot of other people are too. I don't think everybody is, but anyway, like, yeah, doing yoga and getting those, when you do those spinal twists, I once heard somebody say, if you do yoga, you don't need a chiropractor. And you might, if you really need them to crack your back and get you in place, but yoga and meditation will keep you in alignment all the time. So to me, that's sustaining. Right? If you need help to get back in alignment, I would do it. I would go get 10 chiropractic sessions, let them realign you, and then yoga and meditation. This meditation will absolutely adjust your spinal vertebrae. I feel it happening all the time for me. But again, it's a daily practice to keep you in alignment. My doctor put me on an intermittent fasting method to help through weight gain with menopause, but I eat more than once after the window fasting ends. I seem to do well with that. Okay, awesome. I'm not sure what to say about that, except if it works, keep it up. But yeah, usually fasting for long term isn't the answer, but weight loss, purification, sure. somebody said, well, on July 1st, I stopped eating any kind of meat. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All those animals, thank you. Red, white, fish. But I'm turning to bread. Whole grains, whole grains. I'll explain a little more in a sec. I need to know a little bit more about what to eat, and olive oil. I think olive oil is relatively, supposedly pretty good. Maybe how you with cooking with it. I'm not that into oils personally, just because I don't know. I don't feel like I need them. They're in my diet, but like occasional flaxseed oil. Maybe I don't get enough. I'm not an expert at all on oils, but flaxseed is supposedly really good, and that's the one thing I usually put in my food. But my diet probably doesn't have enough oil, but I feel phenomenal. So I'm trusting, like if I wanted more oil in my diet, I'd put it in there. It just feels kind of viscous or whatever. It feels kind of heavy. For my personal system right now, I don't feel any craving for it. And if I did, I would definitely eat it. But as far as turning to like bread and pasta, because you're not doing meat, whole grains, it's the only way to go. I know that's not the best way to talk about nutrition because it's different for everybody, but research whole grains, everybody. So to me, the best one is quinoa. It's a complete protein. You don't have to do rice and beans with quinoa, but I do beans because you do need protein, of course. I heard something recently about, oh, beans aren't so good, lecithins or something, like whatever those are, lecithins or something. I think like light white beans have been great for me as a meditator. So quinoa, you get a rice cooker, put the grain in. Rice cookers are magical. I don't know how they work, but you put in the grain, you put in the water, you press start, and it knows when to stop cooking. It's one of the biggest mysteries in the universe. So it's usually like 1 part grain, 2 parts water. Press start in your rice cooker, come back an hour later, and you've got a perfectly warm, beautiful thing of the super healthiest food. You can get them organic for sure. And then, so quinoa is great as a staple, brown rice. I find brown rice a little bit energetically offsetting, but definitely good. So short grain is a bit more yang for more warming during like winter months. Long grain or like sushi kind of rice, but don't do white rice. You can easily get long grain or short grain brown rice, basmati. I think basmati, like the white basmati is definitely missing. So a whole grain, like if you take a wheat berry is a whole grain. It has the husk, the hull, whatever all that stuff is on the outside, and then it has the white inside. When they refine grains, they put them through the mill, and they take off the husk, and all you're left with, there's like 2 outer layers, all you're left with is the inner white stuff, and then they turn that into white rice and pasta. That's not food. It's missing like 2/3 of what nature intended. So whole grain brown rice for sure. Millet is very pleasant. It's similar to quinoa. I definitely encourage you to get that in your diet. I live on the top of a mountain, so they don't sell millet up here, and I'm okay without it, but I like it. If it was more accessible, I would probably be eating it now. But mostly quinoa and brown rice is what I eat, mostly quinoa. And then other whole grains would be rye berries, but those aren't so pleasant. Buckwheat, but that's not so pleasant either. Amaranth is nice, but kind of by itself, it's really teeny, tiny little pellets. And it's almost like, oh, couscous, by the way, is not a whole grain, everybody. That's pasta. So brown rice, quinoa, amaranth, millet, rye berries, wheat berries, and there's a few others. But, I studied and experimented with them a lot in Chinese medical school, and I pretty much came down to brown rice and quinoa. Right now, I lean towards quinoa. So yeah, that's the way to eliminate the bread stuff. But Ezekiel bread, that's based on formulas in the Bible for how to make bread. That doesn't mean it's like the holy, sacred, divine bread. It just means a few thousand years ago when they knew how to eat properly, that was a really good formula for bread. So I do 2 pieces of Ezekiel bread every morning. And if I do need a snack at night, because you can't sleep if you're hungry, I can't. So I'll do like 1 piece of Ezekiel bread with almond hill, it's almond hill, I think it is, or Kite Hill almond cream cheese, like $8 a tub, but it's for a little thing, but it's good. I'm a cream cheese addict, so that really fulfills my cream cheese cravings. And yeah, it's totally vegan and all that other good stuff. So just 1 piece of Ezekiel bread. So the bread is okay. It's just, people do the white bread and overindulge in it. But if you imagine swallowing it, you'll know if it feels like it's going to give you love handles, right? Imagine eating a few donuts or a pizza or a real bagel with cream cheese. You can imagine how it'll go right to your love handles. But when you imagine swallowing Ezekiel bread, to me, it becomes my body, not fats. And that's really like the way you learn to listen to your body, by imagine swallowing the food and feel how it feels. So tonight, think about, okay, what's for dinner? And like, sure, it could be like, oh, well, I got these really nice pizza shells in there. They're like 1,000 calories for the whole thing. And I put it on the cheese, it'd be like 1,200 calories. And I know I'm gonna eat the whole thing if I make them. So if I imagine swallowing that, I'm gonna feel really heavy and fat, and I just won't eat it. It's there for someday, but yeah, imagine swallowing the food, and I can tell you Ezekiel bread does feel like it becomes my body and not my belly. All right, somebody said thank you for input, aligning, great. Next, do you do vegan protein shakes to maintain muscle? I did before Anahat. Before we started this 2 months ago, I was doing, plug for Shakeology. I was doing P90X. I still kind of do, but I take those exercises and do it on my own from my body needs each day. I was doing their vegan vanilla shakes. Again, I'm a vanilla kind of guy, if you can't tell. So cream cheese and vanilla. Asked my parents, only white foods growing up. So yeah, I was doing those. They're vegan. You know you're getting the protein. You know you're getting all the nutrients that they're putting in there. I'm not doing it now, but if I want to get bigger again, and I'm really enjoying, kind of remember what my body is like when I'm getting like really meditator thin, and I love it. So I'm not doing it right now. But yeah, if I want to get bigger, the thing I would add right now, I don't think I never want to go back to meat, and dairy isn't really good. Debatable, but not for meditation. It's kind of phlegm producing and heavy and not quite energetically right. Maybe eggs, maybe egg whites, but even when I was doing that, I could feel energetically, and the oil that you use, like, I was using coconut oil in the pan. And yeah, and then I just like to leave animals alone. So yeah, if I went back to getting a little bit bigger, if I felt like I needed it, I think I would do vegan shakes for sure. But again, vegan. And then, so thank you. To keep you in alignment with the Anahat system, would half hour twice a day be the minimum to achieve that? Yeah, that would be great. Morning half hour, evening half hour would be awesome for your practice. I'm not emphasizing that so much right now, letting you kind of find your own way. And I'm trying to show you, unlike what I would have done in 2005, a more flexible way of being with this, like count to 10, count to 12, put your hands here, put your hands here, because that's what I'm doing now after 20 whatever years of practice. And then, yeah, I want you guys to feel like you adapt to you. That any given day, you have to do what's right for you. Like, I don't like to meditate as much in the morning. I like to lie in bed a lot. So, I got to stay in bed and get totally peaceful and delicious in my own body and really comfortable. And then if I want to sit in the morning, I will. But in the beginning, but that's again, advanced meditator, honestly, years of my life, every morning, out of bed, on the cushion. But eventually, and you see this in the senior monastics and monasteries, they're not always in the meditation hall every morning or even every evening. Like, they accomplish what they needed to. They're peaceful, they're happy, they're healthy. They don't have to force themselves on the cushion. But remember, in the beginning stages of spiritual growth, you must have spiritual discipline. You can't just do it whenever you want to. If you study A Course in Miracles, in the manual for teachers, there's a line, it's a question, because it's question answer format. It says, how should the teacher of God spend his or her day? And it says for the advanced teacher of God, this question is meaningless because the curriculum adjusts for that practitioner each and every day. That's true for the advanced practitioner. All right, so today, yeah, I joyfully did yoga and movement and Anahat meditation probably at about 1 o'clock this afternoon. And tonight, yeah, I'll probably spend a few hours in meditation, but only if it feels really joyful and good. So in A Course in Miracles, it teaches sit as long as you can, then sit another minute more, and then you're done. That's it. Don't push yourself to the point of misery, or you'll start resisting the practice. In yoga, when you're holding a pose, one ways to do it. Sometimes you just count to 10 and move on or whatever. Count 10 breaths, move to the next pose. But if you're holding a kind of challenging pose, hold as long as you can, take another breath, and then move on. It's just like working out. You push to that last rep. It's like 8 was hard, 9 is really hard, 10 is ideally like muscle failure, depending on what your goals are. By like 8 to 10, around 10, you shouldn't be able to do that last one. and that's muscle failure. Same, you're pushing just your limit, tiny bit more, and that's it. So a half hour would not be good because, you know, I'm training guys to teach meditation as well. You don't tell a beginner to do a half hour morning and evening, right? Our system started 5 minutes, then we added 2 meditations. We went to what, like 6 minutes. Now we're like, you know, there's 10 minutes. Now we're up to about 18 minutes. So yeah, the complete system for a half hour would be good. When I opened Anahat Meditation Center in Massachusetts, when I was 25 years old, we sat for, excuse me. We sat for an hour every morning and an hour every evening. And I was able to sustain that in my mid-20s for about 2 years, and then I just totally burnt out. Seeing a full client load of 25 clients a week, meditating for an hour in the morning, working out for an hour, seeing clients, and then meditating again at night for an hour and teaching. You know, so that was a bit much. So yeah, don't burn out. I think a half hour for somebody who's been through level 1, meditation 1 through 12. Half hour morning and evening would be awesome. And I haven't talked to you guys about how to sit for hours at a time, because you can't keep your body in that position for hours at a time. So usually in Zen meditation, we practice what's called kin-hin, or walking meditation, where you walk in between the sitting cycles. And if we ever do a big retreat together, because we're allowed, this is happening during COVID times, we're making this recording, so we can't be in the same room together. And someday, if we ever get to do an Anahat meditation retreat together, which would be awesome, you know, everybody who's here now is going through this whole training, it'd be amazing to get together and do a retreat for like 3 days or something, where we're all in one space together. We would do kin-hin in between these meditations to keep the practice going. And you know, I can explain that later. And then you add other things. So I might sit for a half hour, but then I might do a half hour of yoga, or a half hour of movement practice, or a half hour of devotional singing, so that my body is moving a bit and my legs are getting circulation. So yeah, I'll do hours of spiritual practice every night, but I'm not always just sitting still, not moving. That would be miserable and extremely hard. And again, I don't feel like I'm trying to achieve a goal now. Excuse me. So discipline is better in the early stages. Just loving the practice is better in the later stages. So in the beginning, it's harder, and you work hard to get the bliss. Once you get the bliss, just keep doing it because it's blissful. You know, it's like I walk in the woods today because I love it, and I have to force myself to get out into nature. So thank you. Yeah, I think a half hour morning even would be great for the average person here. Cooking beans eliminates the lectins. There you go. Thank you. I eat them from the can. It's, you know, you got to choose your battles, and yeah, I would rather battle with whatever a can does than to have to cook beans myself. So I cook the grains myself, but yeah, I ain't cooking no beans. All right, and then somebody said B12 supplementation is very important. Once you stop eating meat, I became very anemic, and unfortunately I learned that the hard way. The vanilla vegan shakes from Psychology, I agree, very yummy, awesome. Yeah, I don't personally do B12 supplements. I really never have. I've never noticed an issue. I don't feel the need to do that now. I haven't eaten meat in a long time. So I get it. I understand the theme. Maybe because I was doing those Shakeology shakes up until about 2 months ago. So maybe my body will start to need it again. But if it does, I'll know, and I'll know how to respond. So yeah, everybody listen to your bodies for sure. Okay, great. Someone said, yes, retreat. That would be amazing. So yeah, as soon as COVID is over and you guys have made it through this training, that would be a wonderful thing. We'll do it up here in the California mountains or Colorado Rockies. Those are good places. All right, any last questions you're sharing? And then I think mission accomplished for the day. All right, great. I'll be here. Let's wrap it up. But if you have other things you want to share, then we'll do that. So we'll be here next week. Again, like I said earlier, I forget if it's meditations 10, 11, and 12 all in one shot. But either way, we're getting very close to finishing level 1, meditations 1 through 12. And then there'll be level 2. That'll take 2 more classes. Then level 3 has about 4 or 5 teachings in there. And then we'll have some time talking about level 4, which is meditation teacher certification level. And then we'll probably spend another class on Samadhi, another class on out-of-body experiences, and then we got the whole nutrition and movement. We're covering a lot of nutrition now, which is good. But the movement themes, I really want to introduce you guys to, after doing 25 years of Tai Chi, Qigong, Yoga, I'm actually really good at it now. and I do want to, and I think I teach it in a way that is not, you know, it's unique, just like this system. So we're making progress. We're probably about a third of the way through. All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you. And I'm still here if you have any last questions or sharing.